or we breaking rims. Open doors or we bust them in. Rolling up at 12 a.m. Squad deep, and we all brought friends. No heat, or we breaking rims. Open doors or we bust them in. Rolling up at 12 a.m. Squad deep, plus a couple friends. No heat, or we breaking rims. Open doors or we bust them in. Friday night like 100 degrees. The block stay hot, but my wrist don't freeze. Didn't pull it out, never had to squeeze. And I stay all day just collecting fees. Pulling down my scully, it's about that time. Better cross the street, better tuck your shine. Gonna walk these dogs, gonna take what's mine. You know what it is. So throw your hands in the air, cause this is what it is right here. You don't want it with us, what you think this was, huh? Yeah, yeah. Rolling up at 12 a.m. Squad deep, and we all brought friends. No heat, or we breaking rims. Open doors, or we bust them in. Rolling up at 12 a.m. Squad deep, plus a couple friends. No heat, or we breaking rims. Open doors, or we bust them in. Yeah. Rolling up at 12 a.m. Squad deep, and we all brought friends. No heat, or we breaking rims. Open doors, or we bust them in. Rolling up 12 a.m. Squad deep, plus a couple friends. No heat, or we breaking limbs. Open doors, or we bust them in. Fire. We ain't playing no games. We taking everything. Everything. So throw your hands in the air, cause this is what it is right here. You don't want it with us, what you think this was, huh? Yeah, yeah. Rolling up at 12 a.m. Squad deep, and we all brought friends. No heat, or we breaking rims. Open doors, or we bust them in. Rolling up at 12 a.m. Squad deep, plus a couple friends. No heat, or we breaking rims. Open doors, or we bust them in.
Happy Friday, you gorgeous gamers. Hope you enjoyed your break, because we're back now with more Call of Duty action to kick off Major 2.
That's right, Puckett. And after what went down in Boston at Major 1, we've got a lot to talk about.
We back on top. We're coming all f***ing year, bro. All year.
All the new rosters, all the new players. We're going to break it down for you right here.
And then strap in for two big matches. Your Major 1 champions, Toronto Ultra versus the Miami Heretics, and the New York Subliners versus the Carolina Royal Ravens.
It all starts right now on the Call of Duty League.
Ultra or your champions. Slams inside, the last man. Call of Duty timing at its finest. The 1v2 in Ace for Lins. All players everywhere. Close left. Slammed. Absolutely slammed. We are in for one hell of a season.
Some words to say, bro. Pass is the pass. F that champ shit, yo. We back. We back on top. We're coming all f***ing year, bro. All year. Let's go.
All year, let's go for the Ultra fans.
Scrap putting the community on notice, letting them know Toronto is here to stay on top. Ignore what happened in the last matchup. Allie, take it away.
Yeah, no, ignore what happened in the World Championship. Toronto Ultra trying to solidify themselves as the #1 team at the beginning of this year, but now that expectation is set. Scrap has said it, that Toronto Ultra now has to try and defend that for the rest of the season.
Atlanta falling to Toronto, this is exactly how we scripted it, almost nameless. We had a lot of big name teams didn't make it to Championship Sunday, and some surprise visits to the top 4 from others in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, Boston was an incredible tournament. You know, you had some teams coming in with a top 4 seed like the Miami Heretics, who end up bowing out 0-3. The New York Subliners, another team that really surprised us. We had them going far in the tournament. They also take an early exit, so the top really separated themselves. Atlanta FaZe, they beat everybody besides Toronto Ultra. Just seemed to have the number all weekend long. Boston was incredible, man. We're going to see if some of these teams can get better after the patch.
I think the big shocker was the subliners bowing out. They fell to Minnesota, and then a follow-up loss to the Carolina Royal Ravens. Glazer and crew got the job done.
Yeah, they just seem to get better on land. We're actually going to see them in action pretty soon. Later on today as our first matchup takes off. But I will say, at least as far as these bottom teams, there's a lot of opportunity after Boston. Some of them showed up and showed out, specifically Minnesota Rocker somehow sneaking in top 4 placing, as well as Seattle Surge making a couple rounds down in that elimination bracket. So for some of these teams, though, they do make the decision sooner rather than later to change their rosters.
Your top 3, Toronto, Atlanta, Optic, with Minnesota finishing in your top 4. How the bracket filled out, though? Quite interesting. It was Toronto and Atlanta taking care of business in the top half. Meanwhile, like you said, squads like Surge, Boston making a run as far as they could. Surge, after beating Boston in that Game 5, took down the Royal Ravens and eventually fell to the green wall after finishing top 6.
Yeah, and obviously the biggest surprise, as Ansa touched on earlier, was Miami Heretics getting absolutely bopped out back-to-back, as well as our New York Subliners getting sent home by Minnesota Rocker, who go on to place that top 4, and the Carolina Royal Ravens. So a lot of expectations for our defending world champs heading into this second split.
Ultra 3-0, 3-0. 3-1 and 4-1 will now finish 10-1 match count with 160 points. Atlanta right behind them, just 15 points behind. But you look at that right side of the screen, only the top 8 make it to champs. And if you're down at 25 points right now, you're probably considering making some changes.
Oh, definitely considering making some changes. We all remember the Cinderella story of Vegas Legion last year trying to make it into champs, and a lot of these teams have learned from it. So making the choice sooner rather than later to switch up a couple of roster spots.
Nameless, let's talk first about LA Thieves. They were at the bottom of that leaderboard. Just 2 match wins. You got bopped out of the tournament on land. They make some roster changes, and you're changing a redhead from the UK for another redhead from the UK.
Absolutely, right? So they're going to be bringing in Nasty and Kremp, and I do think that this is a pretty good move for them. You know, when you're a team that's going 1-12 in a hard point, you're not really dominant in any game mode, it's time to blow it up, and that's exactly what they did. They go ahead and they swapped Joe Deceives and Cammy for Nasty and Kremp. If you remember, Kremp was the substitute on Boston, came in, played very, very well individually, and then Nasty proved himself last year that he can be a top-tier talent in the league. So I do think that this can be a potential good change. They had to do something, and they get 2 extremely talented players to work alongside Ghosty and Afro.
I completely agree with this move that Nasty is definitely a player that deserved to be in the league. And when we would talk about the LA Thieves, it was simply that there was a lot of talent on this roster, but not a lot of consistency when it came to the playmaking. So what do? They bring in Nasty, a player who always put up the same numbers every single time he loaded into a map for the London Royal Ravens. And they bring in Kremp. Give us all hope, right? We saw what kind of player he can be. LA Thieves now taking a chance on that talent and putting him into the starting lineup.
Nameless, this is new life potentially for LA Thieves, but if you're looking at their schedule, do not expect any changes in their seed.
Yeah, I mean, they got the second hardest strength of schedule, as you can see here, opponent record of 43-32. It ain't gonna be easy, man. They got tough matches in the beginning, middle, and end, but for them, when they do go up against Miami Heretics, Minnesota Rocker, hopefully they can catch some W's there, right? You don't want to start off with it's probably gonna be a loss versus Optic, and then you're going to get to Atlanta FaZe. That's never going to be easy, so they got to get going early versus Miami.
LA Thieves need some momentum. We'll see if they can get it going, potentially against Optic, and then definitely against Miami in that second match. Another team that is looking to stay hot is Seattle Surge. Abuza was brought onto the squad. He showed what he could do on land. Illy had a fantastic tournament in Boston, but after that event, Illy replaced with Brezzy. Let's talk about this change. First of all, I know you know Brezzy way better than Ali and I do.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about a guy who's been competing for a while now?
Yeah, I mean, the guy's top 4 placing at champs, right? Like, he's played great before in challengers. He's won some events, and he's also teamed with Abuza and Lens and had a lot of success with them, winning cups and lands and challengers lands as well. So for Brezzy, they go ahead and decide to pick him up, and Illy's they haven't released anything from their camp. We don't know the exact situation. We don't know if it's temporary or if it's permanent, but for now, Illy's gonna be the guy riding the bench, and they're hoping Brezzy can come in and fill those shoes and be a slayer, because Illy was popping off in all the game modes. He was the guy making the impact plays, the guy capturing those moments for them. So Brezzy has some big shoes to fill, but right now, I mean, Seattle, they're looking pretty decent.
And we got to talk about the Frenchman Brezzy coming in, the Awaba Bobs, everyone's favorite challenger team, now starting to get picked up. What do you think of Paul's chance now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, like, it's not often that we see a more older challenger players get brought in. I believe he's 24 years old, and just, you saw the tweet there. He's just very ecstatic about the opportunity and wanting to prove himself after being so hungry for so long.
LA Thieves making moves, Surge making moves. When we come back, we'll break down another squad from Vegas that is benching a star player. We'll tell you why after this.
Upgrade your game with the SCUF, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
It sucks. It is what it is. I'm not going to talk too much about it. If they believe it'll help the team, that's what they believe. It is what it is. I'm still going to be myself. I'm still going to stand on business. And I'm just going to keep going hard until I get another opportunity.
If you're a fan of numbers, well, this move does not make any sense to you. One of the star players when it comes to the KDs and the performances and the positive for the Vegas Legion is now on the bench. A player who has had the worst stats still in the starting lineup, and you're bringing him some support. What's going on in Vegas? Can you break this down for me?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably like a team chem thing, right? Like, you're not going to make a roster change like this unless the team agrees on it. So clearly the players had some in-game frustrations, and, you know, honestly, disregarding individual stats, like Standy, his teams have not been good at control for 2 years straight.
Okay.
So right off the bat, that's something that stands out to me. And then also, like, this team, they had moments in Search and Destroy, but it was a lot of times Nero really taking off in their respawns as well. So I think bringing in Geo can definitely make them a lot better. Geo was a guy in Challengers we saw in the finals going off. Like, that kid is a monster. So if he can come in, bring some good comms, some more structure, play more team-oriented, and set other people up for success, then maybe they can get a little bit better. So I definitely don't hate it. It's just a bit surprising to see a guy like Standy not able to develop into a better team player.
Yeah, I truly think, you know, we all expected Vegas Legion to make a move, but for who it was is what's really taking us all by surprise. But, you know, high hopes for Geo. I'm all for Challengers players now getting brought up to change these camps, these teams that are struggling. I will say, though, for the likes of Geo and Purge, this now puts a lot of pressure on their shoulders, because if they do not perform, I'm expecting Standy might have some words to say from the sideline.
I do have to give a big shout out to the Challenger scene, though. The amount of players that are rising up over the last 2 years, it's more than I've ever seen in the history of Call of Duty's history. Taking a look at some of those players like Geo who went to the Challengers finals. Well, Asim was on the winning side of that battle, and he is back into a starting lineup, and a big win for Boston Breach, if you ask me. This was my favorite guy all last year in the Royal Ravens.
And this is, I think, my favorite move that everybody has made so far following Boston. Asim has consistently been a player we all have rooted for and wanted to be in the league, and has had to prove himself every single time. Last year he was in Challengers, had to prove himself on a team like the London Royal Ravens that was struggling, and now being brought to a camp like Boston Breach that is built for success, has players like Slasher and Priesta. I think there is so much opportunity and will completely change the Boston Breach.
Nameless, there's his numbers, but what's most impressive about Asim's playstyle to you?
I mean, he can do it all.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like a jack of all trades. He can pull out an AR if you need him to. You can pull out a sub if you need him to. He'll challenge. He'll fly in for you. Like, he just straight up plays for the win and fills that void on team. He won a tournament with Slasher before, and he went back to Challengers and fried once again. I think that this is the right move. I think they'll get a lot better.
Well, he's got a strong SMG in his arsenal, and today you may see it put to use by a lot of our players on a new map. Let's talk about what's changing here. We have Season 2 up and going in Ranked. I've been playing this map non-stop. I love Rio in the mix. It's brought color. It's brought some symmetry to the game types, and it seems that Terminal is now out for Hardpoint, Skid Row out for Search and Destroy, and the players not upset about this.
I'm a little upset. I personally enjoy Terminal Hardpoint. I'm going to get a lot of flack for that, but we bring in Rio, and personally, I also love this map. I think the biggest thing that sets Rio apart from the other two is that it's very more Rival 9 heavy than the other maps. That's been MCW dominant for the beginning of this year. Well, Rio, it's going to be a little bit more mixy. It's going to be a little bit more sub-heavy. We're going to see players like Kleenex and Shotzi and Envoy hitting routes and getting behind players with the way this map is built out. Personally, I love it.
It's a short-range map compared to the others in our map pool. So, Nameless, who has an advantage now with this in the mix, and who might see their edge kind of disappear?
I mean, I think some teams that are more SMG heavy, like in the offseason when they build your team around like 2 SMGs and a guy who's sort of a flex but leans towards the SMG. So like Optic comes to mind. I think that they can benefit from this a lot. The New York Subliners, another team I think gets a lot better with this being in the map pool. But yeah, I mean, Rio is just a grade A bang out. That's what you're doing on this map, right? So if you have, you know, good mini map awareness and you guys are playing together, filling your mini map, you're going to be good at this map. And it still makes sense strategically. Like in Search and Destroy, there's a lot of different options you can do. You can bang A out, or you can go up mid and play it slow. So I think that this is an incredible ad, and we got rid of some maps that needed to go.
All right.
Hardpoint was not good.
It was not good. Ellie, did you hear that? You want him to say it one more time?
I don't want him to say it one more time. I'm already sad enough.
All right, you can go into the normal matchmaking and still play it if you want there, fam. When we come back, we got the first match of a 2-match day. We're going to Miami in 5 weeks, but we got the qualifiers before it.
Call of Duty Week is brought to you by Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL. Upgrade your game with the Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
I'm interested in making as opposed to making friends. Double bags, I've been paranoid, having a safe place. I'll take a check. Finishing this drink should only take a sec. But Mark just cut me off, he told me that I go on stage in 10. Walk out to my own shit on the main event. Vinci my cologne after the show, she told me that shit was a favorite sense. Sprint event is spacious, we can take it friends. What happened next, you can take a guess.
I want to party with those guys. Toronto tossing some cash up in the air after their latest tournament win. On the other side, you have Miami Heretics, who came in with a top 4 seed but bombed out in Boston. Let's start with Miami, a team who is looking to improve. I looked there in the bottom right, Nameless. That's a fresh face.
Yeah, they bring in Eric Boom, who, if people remember correctly, to start the season, he was supposed to be the starter. And they actually released a video where Methods, their coach, was talking about it. He was saying they wanted Eric to get comfortable playing once again within a team, you know, so the nerves wouldn't be there. So they had Journey in at first to give Eric Boom some time to develop. And they feel like he's developed to the point where it's time for him to be on the starting roster. So this was the plan all along. They just didn't know exactly what time or what stage he would pop into the lineup. And they decided after getting bopped 3-0, 3-0, it was time.
And respectfully, unfortunately, we saw Journey really show up during the online qualifiers, but when it came to Major 1 at Boston, he had very unsatisfactory stats, if you will say so yourself. So when it comes to Miami Heretics, I'm excited to see how they play on the newer patch. So for the pregame, when it comes to Miami Heretics, their SD map pool has to expand. Their Form 4 and current maps, an interesting stat for them during Major 1 was that they were 0-1. 0-1 in game 5. So even if they made it through a series, they weren't able to close it out in that map number 5. So Miami Heretics, again, this series is kind of just seeing how they do on the new patch and with a new player.
Their control defense has been insane, though, Nameless.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've been great at control, right? We've seen, them, especially on the Karachis that we see them have in their offense. They're just lightning fast. But for the Search and Destroy, yeah, they've never played a high-rise S&D. And then now with Rio being in, that could be a map that they add to their map. When we have it in this series for game 2, so that'll get real interesting.
Miami getting ready to play today. If you're looking for a star, well, Metals, the guy in the top left, had the best POV, in my opinion, in Boston. Keep your eyes on the young SMG. Taking a look at their opposition, though, you're going up against Toronto, a team that has all the confidence in the world. Will they be able to hang with Miami, though, on a short-range map? A lot of people saying Scrap without his marksman could have a tough day. Nameless, you agree with that?
No, Scrap's going to have his way, basically, regardless. But, yeah, I mean, we'll see, how they have adapted to, some of the changes that we've had. If you remember, during stage 1, we were playing free patch. So obviously that's going to be a difference. But this team is just sound from top to bottom. I mean, you have 2 extremely solid ARs in Insight and Scrap. And then you have Kleenex, who is absolutely disgusting at the top of this game. And Envoy is sort of playing the cerebral game, right? So they're at the top of their game right now. You really have to come correct to take them.
If you get 6 kills in a row, you unlock a missile. Are we going to see more score streaks today, Ali, than what we saw pre-Major 1?
Maybe some more score streaks, but trophies don't stop them anymore, so their impact is going to be way of a bigger change than what we're used to. And when it comes to Toronto Ultra, I feel like a lot of these changes just kind of help this team, other than there was some MCW nerfs, so maybe you could see that affect players like Insight and Scrap, but on the flip side, they still have 2 disgusting SMGs in Kleenex and Envoy. So when it comes to the new map like Rio, I feel like this is a team that's going to thrive.
Let's take a look at our Monster Energy pregame name. Let's break it down for me. How did they stay nearly perfect? They're 10-1 in their 11 matches so far.
I mean, honestly, their hardpoint has been unbelievable. They don't even have an active hardpoint in the map rotation that they've lost. Terminal hardpoint's gone. I will say for Search and Destroy, though, Skid Row being removed hurts this team a lot. They're 4-0 on Skid Row S&D, so now you get rid of that, and then you look at the other 2. It's like Karachi, they're 4-1. Invasion, they're 1-1. Well, guess what? They don't have a win on any of the other S&Ds. High Rise and Terminal. Now with Rio being in, if they show some weakness in this Rio in game 2, it could be a little suspect for their map pull and Search.
You worried about them in control, Ali?
Not really. Toronto Ultra is always going to be a respawn team when it comes to my eyes. They found some success in hardpoint. You have to think that with some of the changes coming into the game and working on the control with the 2 weeks that they have had, they shouldn't have a struggle against a team like Miami Heretics.
If you're just joining us here at the Call of Duty League, this is your number 1 going up against number 6. Toronto has the advantage coming in. But as we take a look at the maps, we'll see how long this one could play out. Will we get to a game 5 today, Ali?
I don't think we'll get to a game 5, but I am really excited to see that we already are opening up with Rio back-to-back in Hardpoint and Search and Destroy. I've been really interested in seeing how these teams are going to play a Rio Hardpoint specifically. And what about you?
I think this actually could go game 5, honestly. I think Eric Boone plays very, very aggressive, and Miami Heretics they're really good online. Like, let's be honest. They played great in the online first split. And these are 2 new maps, right, that are going up against the Toronto Ultra. So I think we could see game 5 here.
Rio, I'm going to take Kleenex for 1,000. Let's jump right into predictions here, ladies and gentlemen, as we make it official on the headquarters desk. It's our Scuff Pick'em, and I'm going first. I'm calling out my boy Scrap. Let's make it 11-1 for match count.
Yeah, after they won Major 1 at Boston, and he said that speech, like I don't think I can go against Toronto after that. So I'm gonna go with the purple squad.
Okay, I got a Toronto. You got a Toronto. Nameless, you could potentially take the lead here if you went with Miami.
No, I'm going to go with Toronto.
He's going Toronto as well.
I think they take it.
And let's see where the Call of Duty fans lie today. All 4 going Toronto, which means Miami is going to win. That's how it's been the last 3 times. We'll find out if the record stays true. We've got our casters to kick things off here in just a moment. Games are ready on the other side of this commercial break.
Spawn behind a few players, so there's a freebie kill for him. And he touches the ground. All players everywhere. Close left. Slammed! Absolutely slammed.
1v2 and the ace is what's going to be the requirement. Fame at the very least going to spot him on the cross or give away the freebie. 1v1. Call of Duty timing at its finest. The 1v2 in ace for Lins.
He finds 2! Abizi somehow finds 2.
Can someone make it here in 10 seconds?
Selling, there's 1. The second. Slams Insight. guns are there. The last man, FaZe, somehow pull out a win there. FaZe with a couple of key eliminations. Here comes Stallion from the front. Can he? Oh! It's all dead! Atlanta cannot get back into the hard point. You want to make 5? You got it! The bomb planted. For maybe the last time. With 32 left on the clock, it's Scrap. And Sam, he's trying to pierce it. He can't get it done. Ultra are your champions. Toronto Ultra.
Ultra take home the gold and, of course, the top seed coming into our Major II qualifiers. Miami is 5 weeks out. You got 7 matches to play in those 5 weeks. So if you're a Toronto fan, what do you want to see from your squad going into Major II?
Well, obviously, you want to see confidence and you want to see them dominate. I mean, after a performance at Major 1 like that and to go on the stage and to say stuff like that, Toronto Ultra has their expectations extremely high.
Nameless, if Miami is going to cause the upset today, what is our number 6 seed needing to do?
I mean, they got to start out hot on Rio. They got to show off right off the gates, like, you're going to have to veto this map against us. And they can make a statement here.
All right, we made our picks. Everyone chose Toronto. It's time to find out, though, how does this match play out as we send it to our casters? We got Maven and Merc on the mic to open things up.
Thank you so much. Let's get into it. Excited to be back. A little bit of a break, but now we get going again. And, yeah, we got Rio now involved. Some changes, obviously, to the competitive playlist here for us. I know you've been playing ranked a bit, getting into it. Just thoughts so far on the new map?
I mean, I enjoy it. Yeah, I think a lot of the teams are going to, the teams that want to play with more subs, they're going to, try to opt for this, right? I mean, if you look at sort of this map pool that we have, the two that were kind of sub-heavy were sub-base and Karachi, but then sub-base, the changes, the spawn changes came through, and I mean, it was really just very AR heavy, right? So now you kind of have this in the mix, and this is going to help that veto process for all of our teams in the CDL.
The veto process, and just like, how teams are built, typically your AR, your flex, your 2 subs. I mean, it's really been a 2-sub game. I mean, it's been a very different dynamic for some teams. Some teams have found success in the past, struggling to maybe get back to that fluidity they'd appreciated. So now, will this help some teams, you think? Maybe they've had some struggles, like, I don't know, maybe a New York comes to mind. Get Kismet unlocked, like a team like that.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think New York, Ultra is another team. I think Scrap is a much better flex than people really know about, right? We haven't seen
He's better than we think. I think he's pretty damn good.
I think, like, obviously everyone's going to be like, he has an AR. We haven't seen him.
True.
With his sub. I've been peeping the stream. You guys got a nasty sub, so we'll see that come into play. But
he's always said, I want to pull it.
Yeah, it's just he hasn't had to yet. I think now we will see it. But there could be some teams, depending on the hills, that run 2 MCWs, that run 3 subs.
Get him to a hard point.
I guess that's what we're gonna find out. Yeah, you know what happens when we get to a hard point.
Woo! All right, this is going to be a lot of fun. I have a question for you, just thinking about Toronto's. You got some time probably before this starts. I think you mentioned when we were watching the Major that it reminded you of New York at Event 1 last year. Sort of just looked ahead. They kind of cruised straight through stuff. But it was a little different than last year. They had a battle then to get back to it at Champs. Obviously, the consistency wasn't there. How do you feel about Ultra, though, coming off of that? When similar to New York, or are you scared they're in just a dominant form?
I mean, I think that they could be in a very dominant form. I think the one thing for them is that the game has changed. It's not only just the addition of Rio, it's the addition of, the hard points have changed on some of these maps. There's a new spawn system on some of these maps. So there is a lot of differences, but in one way, they may be motivating, right? Like, you're coming home and you're kind of just playing.
Can't get comfortable, right?
Yeah, you're playing a brand new game, and you already seen it right here. Rio, hardpoint, Rio, S&D. Even getting Karachi control, I think when our stats guy EasyMax sent us over some of the notes, it's like Miami, they could be in control of map number 3 because of their better record on Invasion and High Rise. Don't play them on Karachi. Well, you add Eric Boom, there's a new roster, practice is a little bit different. We're playing Karachi control.
We'll talk about Miami now a little bit. We talked about Toronto, how incredible they've been. We'll see if they can keep it going. They got Target on their back now, obviously. For Heretics, I mean, listen, online, you were pretty damn good. You're doing well in the league. Land journey struggles. You make a change then coming into this. Fact is, we're back online, though. Maybe they're going to be a little bit more comfortable. And you've always kind of viewed this as like a 5-man roster, right?
Well, I think, fact is they're the number 6 team right now, right? And I don't think that's the worst start. I think it's just they came out hot. They came out motivated. strength of schedule was what it was. The problem was the land is you had 3-0, 3-0 popped, right? It's like you didn't look good versus Optic. Whatever, you played them the week before, you're able to win that. Maybe some adjustments are made, but then you get 3-0 popped by Legion, and everybody's like, all right, what the heck happened? Now, Vickle did say in some of the pre-match interviews, like, our scrims have not been good. We have not been looking great, and maybe it was just that, an effect of that. And yeah, they opt for the change. They wanted Eric to, develop a little bit more. But yeah, I see this as like, if they have a player has a bad stage, you might see Journey right back in the lineup.
Well, I think, like, as we look at the standings, most teams have a lot of up and downs. You do. You have those hot stretches where you're dominant. Maybe you're struggling in scrims. You struggle a little bit going into an event. I think that's why we put a lot of respect for FaZe, just because, even if they've been winning, they've been so damn consistent every single league, every single major. But most teams, sometimes you're clicking, sometimes you're not. It happens. People are human.
Yeah, you're going to get hot sometimes you're going to get cold, and you're going to get vetoes taken away from you. You have to play different maps, and that's one thing with Miami. Even
confidence can come and go for a player. Like, that stuff happens.
Looking at the major, they got their invasion a couple of times throughout the series, but they lost all of their invasions, right? So, yeah, the map pool is a big thing for this Miami Heretics team coming into this stage, I think.
We'll see if they can get rolling. Excited to see what Eric Boom is going to do with this squad. It's been great. You and I have always wanted more of the international spice into flavor, right? Like, we want our German teams, French teams, Spanish teams, get them all in. We've had more French players coming in. Now Brezi's coming into the league. You have, obviously, Hydra have been dominating. It's been cool to see this. We're always pulling for Heritage a little bit. We want to see him find some success here on Foreign Oil.
Yeah, now we just need champs in London. That's really all we need.
Yeah.
That's what we really need, but here we go. We're getting a Rio map number 1. Again, excited to see how this plays out.
Where were we on A2 stakes, bro? Where was that at?
I don't remember.
Short North or something? Let's make that up.
The Shortage?
Shortage?
Shortage, that's where we stayed. That's the area we stayed.
Where I had a steak. I loved it. Then I got another one.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. We had a great time. We had a great time that event.
Now, do you think, like, coming into this with Ultra, the dominant form, I think you kind of nailed it. They probably shouldn't be too comfortable considering new maps come into the rotation. But you got to be a little hungrier probably if you're the Heretics side. Like, due to the struggles you had, due to the team change, like, you got a little more pressure. 6 isn't bad, but Ultra's sitting pretty.
Yeah, I think, listen, the reason why that we thought maybe Ultra wasn't as good as they were going into Major 1 was sort of that 3-0 slip-up versus Breach, right? It had everybody just a little bit confused.
That was the most confusing moment.
Correct.
I think even I thought we had our tier list figured out, then I was like, what the?
Yeah, like, they go to that 7-0 in a dominant fashion, we're like, all right, they're easily the best team, but it's like that slip-up kind of, we were like, what's happening here? Let's see when they play FaZe. But they took care of business. And you can kind of say maybe now first match of the stage, you can kind of just cruise, maybe the momentum for Miami, the hunger, as you said. There's a chance for an upset here, or they're going to come out and smoke them.
No, Ultra were unbelievable. We casted that first Seattle match, and I remember thinking, like, wow, Seattle are just dog. Like, the way they were playing, like, they're not good, but it just hadn't clicked yet. Like, we knew Ultra was good, but I didn't realize that. We kept getting deeper into the weekend, like, dear mother of God.
Yeah.
These guys are absolutely insane. And, I think just with the talent now they have in the roster, they've always been highly competitive. They've been able to battle, your FaZe, your Optic, the top teams, even when, maybe the talent or they weren't spending as much on players as ever it was. Now, like, they get everything they want. They get a player like Envoy. They get Scrap. Like, they're disgusting.
Yeah, it felt like at times, like, just the firepower maybe wasn't there, right, with this Toronto Ultra team, but the chem and the teamwork always was, right? They were always competing for titles. Now with this roster, it's tough to really find a weakness.
Well, I think there's always a balance with this stuff. When we talk about Call of Duty, we talk about the intangibles, we talk about the teamwork, how important it can be. But at the same time, you need to be able to shoot straight. I think, I think when you have, like, the nice thing about having the great teamwork and chemistry they do is, like, maybe when you're having an off day, you still can perform. You still maybe can upset somebody. But if you're playing against the best team and they're hot that day, you need to have the firepower. They now have it. It's
yeah, there's no real weakness here. Yeah,
it seems that way. Maybe we're gassing them up too much. Maybe it was a hot weekend, but
they're 15-1 in hardpoint. Yeah. I don't know if we were. They had a multiple week stretch where they were obviously dominant. Obviously their search and destroy control. There's room for improvement. But what did we talk about on the podcast? Their search and destroy at the major, I think, was they beat FaZe in all 4.
That was probably the thing that surprised me the most. That was what surprised me the most. I thought that'd be a competitive series just because of the surge. I was like, oh, God.
They lost. They beat them like 18.
Yeah. I was like, what is happening here?
So,
dear God. And thanks for hanging out with us. We had a pre-show that ran a little bit faster, I think, than we expected it to. So Joe and I are kind of hanging out, just chatting, vibe until we get into it. But now ready to start. Time to get going. Miami Heretics, Toronto Ultra. Your first look at Rio in an official CDL match. Joe's been grinding rank. They call him the Rio Reaper.
They don't.
Yes, they do, Joe.
I'm
yes,
so
they
sorry
do.
if I costed you SR. I've been playing by myself, not getting carried by my friends who are pros. I've just been grinding the solo queue. So sorry if I costed you some SR online.
No, Joe, you're a beast. You probably you take off streamer mode, so you're not hiding.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
Dude, what an animal. Well, just, once we're getting into this, they're starting to get things going. You talked about the subs and stuff, but, like, I don't know, is there a map this reminds you of in the past, or what were your big takeaways when you were grinding it?
I mean, I don't really. It really has its own unique look, right? In terms of that, it's obviously a smaller map, but rotations are going to be key, and that's why you see Ultra trying to push through the right side of the map to flip these spawns. But you're going to see where Vickle spawns up, where that lock is going. Envoy spawns all the way out, but with that kill on Eric Boom, maybe you have some pressure here. So yeah, Eric Boom's going to spawn out now. A chance here for Ultra.
Well, I guess it plays more like your typical 3-lane map, not a 3-lane map that's actually 8 lanes, because there's an underwater tunnel, you can fly in the sky. Feels like pretty typical COD now.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
There's not like an underground train station.
Can't swim across the map.
Dude, it's so, I mean, like, you look at the map, like, oh, it's a 3-lane map. Like, the hell it is. There's like 12 lanes.
Metals with a great start here, 7-1, but Ultra just right through the driveway, able to put pressure on it. And really, Heretics have just not found kills to get this hill time comfortably. They had the spawns, but it has not mattered. As Ultra gonna find some scrap time here.
You mentioned Metals, though. He's got a hot start, though. See if he can keep it going. Nice shots from Lucky, too, as the headshot will come through. Only 10 seconds left for the hard point. You got the position for the tail end of this if you are Heretics, but now you see the minimap lock is popping up. We're getting ready to head to our next hard point. Ultra in position now to maybe make their rally. Fickle trying to stay up. Survives longer than I thought he was.
And now over towards this P3. This is where it can kind of get interesting. This P3, there's just so many doors, there's so many windows, there's a lot of entry points. So you really need map control if you want to find a good amount of time. That's why Kleenex number 8 just kind of roaming through middle of the map. And he's able to find that first kill. The rest of the push for Heretics is through this back. Here comes that pressure, but Ultra doing a very good job. Lucky the last player up, but that is going to be 4 dead on that push.
Yeah, I mean, typically with the smaller maps, you're someone that's trying to do those quick flanks, make plays, get lost. You get a lucky timing, you might be killing the entire squad. We'll see what Kleenex is able to do. He had some brilliant moments at the Major. I mean, some of the stats he put up were, I mean, they look kind of fake, like he was playing ranked. They were unbelievable.
He's our MVP for the reason. As the final 15 seconds do go the way of Miami Heretics. Now on rotation, back over towards this driveway. You have Heretics there early. Looks like one player in insight from Ultra. And Envoy, looks like they're trying to set up this pinch. Maybe control this side of the map for the P5 coming up next. But right now it's a one-on-one, and Insight continues to win gunfights. Envoy as well on this rotation. So now they have a 20-point lead.
I mean, honestly, Joe, I already like it because I'm watching a lot less of people pre-aimed. People are actually running around the map and trying to gun people, as Envoy was definitely just laying there pre-aimed. But more rivals means a little more movement.
Terminal Hardpoint wasn't your favorite? I thought it was.
Yeah. Loved it, dude. I've got security. I've got security. I've got the cross. I've got security.
No, but Miami do a great job.
They were cosplaying his actual TSA agents. Like, what the two, bro? Holy hell.
They were locking it down. They were locking it down. But speaking of locking it down, Heretics get right back in the game. They find that break on the push. They had 6 kills in a row as a squad. And now a chance to take the lead for the first time. But you already see Ultra on rotation. Scraps it up at bridge.
So far, it's a competitive one. Lead change looming. Heretics now go out in front. The next rotation up. We'll see what Toronto can do with the time as Eric Boom trying to reposition in an extended 1v1 here with the pillar. Kleenex now backing up. He's like, all right, I'm out of here. Teammate able to pick it up, though. Eric Boom now trying to get the trade. Not quite able to do it. It's a double for Envoy. It's 3 in a row. So he's now up to 11 and 8. On the other side, Metals, I mean, still kind of being the hard carry, at least from a kill standpoint. Started out 8 and 2, 14 and 5 now.
Yeah, Lucky right behind him. But again, just another break here from Miami Heretics. But team kill does come in from a stun. So Eric Boom was 1 HP. That'll be 3 dead for Miami Heretics.
Still missed when they did like 20.
And well, Fickle, he's just going to have to hang out, wait for his teammate to spawn.
You want to see Scrap with sub out. Let's see what we can do with the rival now. Trying to play for Infelt. Got Lucky on the other side of him. Aimed a little too high, slides right under it. We've all been there. Those are the most, I think, annoying fights. You're like ADS, you're holding a line, you're like, I'm good, dude. I got the angle, I'm set up, and they just slide right under it, and you kind of lose them.
Yeah, you kind of lose it, but Insight
Not
with
losing.
the Renetti top middle, able to find 2 on this rotation. Back over to P1.
Woo!
It is a very close game as he finds the triple, 12 and 9. And Insight, I mean, maybe we talk about his objective, but if you look at the stats of the final, this guy was kind of in hard carry mode versus FaZe.
It's weird that, like, we know how good he is and how consistent he's been, but I still feel like he's just like, maybe it's because of Listenance and how his play style, it's not that flashy, but he is, I feel like he's super underrated.
He's
Am I
so
crazy?
good. No,
he's so good, but like, I don't know, I don't think people realize how good he is sometimes.
It's still a 5-point game, 20 seconds left in Heretics. Controlling that right side of the map. Lucky off spawn, he's gonna rotate on over. But is this a battle right now top mid? This is a very close game between these two. On our first real hardpoint of the season.
Yeah, it's probably the bad. I feel like you just can be hit from anywhere. So many different angles the shots can come from, but see what they can do with the lead now if you're Ultra. Looking to get a break as the next hardpoint is up. Envoy looking to be the entry man, looking to get the trade, not quite able to do it. Now Pistol out, and Pistol is pop, another one in front, but not gonna be able to win that fight. So far, so good for Miami Heretics. Maybe another lead change in what has had a ton of them. We expected Heretics to be competitive online, expect them to be fired up, maybe with the honeymoon period with Eric Boom on the roster, and they're battling the best team in the league right now.
Yeah, this is what kind of the issue last time through, right? You won this rotation if you were Heretics, but I mean, Toronto Ultra just doing a good enough job to make this messy. Lucky the entire time. He was just going on that pinch, knew where the push was, but Miami Heretics down 10 right now. Let's go to a listen with Miami.
Están buscando al final, ¿vale? Está muerto con el jump up, sí. Jump up muerto. Otro más con el Poliscar. Poliscar muerto. Bueno, al fondo, esquineado, ¿vale? Vale. Te queda clean. Estoy buscándome todo. No me encuentra, tío. En bolsa. Estoy en esquí yo, holdando a la derecha. No, tenemos que ir por medio de derecha. Voy derecha, muerto, otro más derecha conmigo. Que no tenemos. ¿Dónde está Eric? Está en derecha conmigo, se ha ido para el FIC. Para la ventana del FIC. Uno ganando medio en esquís. Para atrás el de esquís. Está colando por la ventana. Otro matiz derecha. El inside va a estar por la izquierda. Me metí derecha en el Gmor. Bueno, me giro yo. Lo maté yo. Vale. Esa no por si acaso no hacía alguno. Puede ser que busquemos uno. Yo tengo muerto. Toda mi vida, no tengo nada. Tengo esquís yo. Dos puentes abajo. Vale, te tengo el push a la izquierda, Madrid. No, me van a dañar por la izquierda. Créate un tiro a la izquierda. Yo tengo esquís. Entra por Zig. No tengo nada esquís todavía. Muerto. Otro más al fondo. Estamos llegando por medio. Aquí fondo. Hasta el tiempo, está al fondo inside, un tiro. Fondo tiki. Vamos al kill. Ven el Kleenex muerto. Tenemos que jugar siguiente ahora. Voy contigo al siguiente. Voy a pillar al naranja. Hay uno está en naranja. Está en cajas, en la planta voy un tiro. Y otro más en naranja. No lo veo. Un tiro yo, me voy a pasar de cara. Un tiro.
It's funny, obviously not fluent, so I don't know exactly what's being said, but it's comedy when I think about the listening for Ultra that we really got on the Skid Row. Like, for them, it's like they were at a public library, like having a team bonding exercise, reading the Harry Potter series as they're breaking P2. A little different, a little more passion from Heretics, but
yeah, you know, obviously some people, you know, it's just their intensity that they bring. Finkel with some nice shots there, trying to get this break. You had two players working the spawns, trying to flip them for P5, but instead, probably the best hold we've had all game. It's been so messy, but the first 30 seconds here at P4 going the way of Ultra, the largest lead so far that we have seen. It's about 50.
So what's the hardest thing you think as a pro, like when a new map comes into the rotation? Like, what's the hardest thing first to get down or deal with?
Well, I think it's just sort of how you want to make your pushes, right? Where you want to hold, force the spawns.
Timings, I imagine, to a degree.
Yeah, timings are absolutely huge. But as a team, it's just sort of what's the best way to play each hill, right? What's right, what's wrong? How do we force weird spawns, the right spawns? It is a lot of testing. Pushing limits.
Well, yes, I mean, you're thinking more. It becomes natural once you've been grinding it and you learn how you want to play it, but you're spawning up and thinking, all right, what am I doing? Pretty much. Even the pros at first, at least, when something comes out, but they learn a lot faster than the average person. Trust me, I played a little bit of ranked and I was lost in the sauce, but Ultra looking to put this one away. Need 25 points. It has been highly competitive, battling back and forth. Chance to get it done. Scrap with sub in hand. Frying 3 in a row for him. 24 and 18. Looking to go vertical. Trying to get Trophy out. Finessing his life as the entire team is in front. Finally he drops, but it's Ultra in the hard point.
Ultra right now, just trying to find the final last 11 seconds. Heretics do get through, and I think this is going to force a rotation. Scrap has a one-on-one top mid, able to win it. Snaps onto the second with the rival. So to give them some breathing room for now, up towards P1. A few seconds left. Envoy up to 27. He's probably very happy on a map like this. He gets to run around with that sub a little bit more, be a little bit more free. Insight with a couple, and now with 5 seconds, this should do it.
Spawning out is Heretics, not able to get there in time. Ultra strike first on Rio. The hardpoint stretch continues to be dominant. Shocking. As much as I think this could be more competitive than maybe expected, they've been unreal in hardpoint. Absolutely unreal.
Yeah, I think Heretics played this well. I think you look at both P2s as a chance for Heretics where you're controlling the spawns. They could just get never pushed out driveway. So the pressure was always there from the front for Ultra, where the nades were connecting time and time again. You just never had enough map control to really get enough points. Metals with a great game. Lucky slowed down a little bit there. Looking at Eric for what he did, or coming into this roster. Again, I think 250 to 184, it was neck and neck up until, what, 150 to 150 or so?
Well, they've been ahead, and I would think, listen, each game has a spawn logic, right? I know it's different, the maps, but they get it. So even though it's a new map, I'm sure they are going to be ahead. I mean, I was talking to Envoy. I think I was talking about a spawn. There was a horrific one I saw on Invasion. He goes, nah, you can stop that. Just a shrill calm, they get it, obviously. They're clicking right now when it comes to hardpoint.
Yeah, I mean, obviously every scrim, they're sort of watching back situations with their coaching staff. They're seeing where do we spawn, where are they spawning, right? Kind of exactly what I said, just discussing, all right, when I was doing this, where were we? How do we force this spawn again and again? And yeah, these teams, they played it a couple of times, and it turns into a science.
It's one of the difficult things when you have a new title year over year, different developers, different spawn logic. Some people it clicks a little bit faster, some people get a bit ahead. Right now, Ultra's hardpoint is delectable in Scrap. He gets real excited during hardpoints, and he brings it there.
He does, yeah.
Like what you saw, Joe.
He does it with the rival as well. I mean, that is a gun I just can't figure out. Every time I play online, it's just like you have to hit your first bullet before you start shooting, or that thing can get away from you. But again, maybe some question marks surrounding his sort of AR or sub. I mean, he does it with both.
Yeah, Todd's always been a little weird with recoil because of game assist. I remember when, I think it was Enable and I, when we first switched over from Halo, we were playing a lot of CS together, and he was talking to me about I wish we had predictive stuff, a little more spray patterns. I'm like, well, bro, aim assist kind of chalks all that because the spray pattern becomes non-existent if you hit your first bullet, it just sticks.
Yeah, it's also, there's different recoil patterns if you hit your first shot. It gets wild.
Yeah.
It does. It does get wild.
I just remember when we switched over from Halo back in the day where I was like, I don't know what is doing. My gun's everywhere, bro.
It's just I don't know what it is with the rival, but me and we don't get along. We don't get along.
Hey, you'll get there, dude. You're a very talented man.
I don't know if I will get there, but who did get there, you see in map number 1, or you see it was pretty much a tied game, that second P2, and then Ultra on that second rotation ran away with the game.
Yeah, it's been, I feel like, a lot for the top teams. When it comes to hardpoint, it's really been just those final, 3 hardpoints or so. I mean, early on with FaZe, they're winning all those clutch moments. They aren't able to at the major. Ultra's been clutching up at the end, just things click, the pressure is in, and you performing. I feel like the best teams battle, it's always been evenish till 150, and then
boom, take off. I think they find the money hills, and they win those rotations. They take advantage of it. I think you look at that P4, probably the best hold we saw throughout that game. But we're sticking with Rio Search and Destroy, so we'll see how this one plays out. I think coming into it, my mind was a smaller map like this with where the bomb sites are placed. I think it's either going to be a lot of very quick 4v4 rounds, right? Either up top middle or up towards that A street, or it's just going to be, a lot of retake scenarios. So I'm interested to see how these teams are playing it.
Yeah, maybe, listen, Envoy and I agreed one time on COD logic. It was back,
okay.
I think it was back in Vanguard.
Perfect. That was very logical game.
No, I just was listen, I always think the second P1's the most important for you guys, bro. Because second P1, the first one's usually scrappy. Second one just kind of dictates that second half. And he's like, I totally agree.
There you go.
That's why he's a second half team, dude.
Maybe
him and Baldy agree.
Maybe you should wear your audio backwards like him.
I still think that's insane. I can't wrap my head around it. We've talked about it a bunch over the years, but I can wrap my head around just the human brain's insane. I don't get how that just becomes normal.
Yeah, especially yours. It is an insane place.
Yeah, no, my brain is, dude, if you knew half the stuff I wanted to say on broadcast, but sometimes people stop in my stream and they're like, bro, How do you commentate? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a good boy.
Yeah, you're an interesting one, but then you see inside his S&D stats from Major 1. We were just talking about it. But a 1.67.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good. They had better ones, though. They did have better ones. But here we go. We'll
it's like
see
a Cellium stat, but you win the event.
See how these teams play it. Pretty spread out, and you see the way, well, it's just a top mid hit for Ultra, and this is kind of what I was talking about, just a lot of retakes, and I think that's going to be it. Maybe just give me up that bomb side, playing the 3 versus 3.
Yeah, I sort of asked you before, like in a little bit you played, like what your thoughts were. You're like, it's going to be fast and retakes. That's like all you have. But I mean, you haven't played a ton yet, obviously. We haven't watched the pros get to it yet.
I mean, Vishal's doing laps in his spawn right now. He's got a 1 versus 2, trying to find these timings, but he's going to get taken out as Ultra. Just go right up top Eskies, and they win the gunfights.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I mean, why they have always been a threat, like even with the different rosters for Toronto Ultra. I know there's some mainstays, but they've always just been good to great in all modes, like never really a glaring weakness. You know, the hard point, even when it was bad, it was like 50-50. Now it just feels like, where do you find the weakness? Where's like that crack in the armor?
Not hardpoint. There's 16-1 in it, so.
Or like, you know, that the dragon and the Hobbit, dude, with like that little spot where the arrow can go through. Like, where's that at, Joe?
Right, the weak spot.
Yeah. Where's that at? The scale's missing, so you can shoot straight through the heart with a giant black arrow.
Well, it's not a dragon. Toronto Ultra, it's a squirrel.
Okay. Well, is it a giant squirrel?
I don't think so, but that was a quick round, and the Squirrels win it.
Sorry, I went to Lord of the Rings there and Hobbit. I lost my mind, Joe, but we're back to Rio.
We are back to Rio, and again, it's just this.
That was quick, though.
It's on middle control, and then Envoy works that pinch. I think Scrap, he was able to find that double near that bomb site. And a couple of rounds that kind of don't go your way, this is where it can get really interesting for Heretics. You know, you can just sort of, again, play over towards one bomb site, just give up no picks, play around info, use your stuns and nades. See what Ultra opt to do on their attack.
Yeah, you think with a new map too, like just the confidence you have to have your Ultra coming off a win too, like more decisive probably on the map. You know, you're just had a change of your Heretics. You're figuring stuff out, trying to get comfortable where
wow,
Ultra here's hitting stuff.
And I don't know if you saw that, but smoke goes down. They black out Vickel's POV to not see bridge side. That forces two players there for Heretics to really focus on top mid towards B. But all the pressure is over towards Lucky, and well, he's just going to opt to give this up, but does have to be careful. Envoy's going to find the first blood. Bomb goes down.
Lucky, able to take down one. 3 versus 3 now, 35 on the clock. Scrap, tucked away in a corner. Doors open, knock, knock. Who's there? Scrap gets dropped, the wallbang comes through. Noses in the corner, hits the shots. Now on Insight and Envoy, trying to hold on to this 2 versus 3. 20 to go. Insight with the info, Insight with the shots. Lucky takes that Envoy, now it's on Insight the clutch. What a tournament he has had. Can he clutch up? Not gonna happen. Vickel able to make the play in from behind, just enough time to hit the defuse. That round took longer than the first two.
Yeah, you're right. You just play around the retake. I got a little bit nervous when they lost the first blood. Envoy was able to find the one player working that pinch, but they do a good job getting Scrap. I call it inside a tool, whatever your team or teammates want to call it. Yeah, they're able to find him, and I think he was confused because he gets wall bangs. I don't know if a name pops up, if a stun. It didn't look like the stun or nade hit him, so he was just kind of playing that door, but does get taken down, and that opens up for
Scrap. Yeah.
For Heretics.
He thinks he's tucked away and then just dropped.
Yeah, he's like, all right. Maybe they see a gun. I have no idea.
Well, it's one of those, just check the corner and common spot when you're holding post plant, and he gets caught.
But that's a great. I liked the showing there from Ultra, right? The strat that they were showing.
You once told me that Call of Duty tactical plays make you arouse more than anything in the world, Joe. Nice win there from Scrap, but the trade is in instantly. Kleenex, though, will follow it up. Numbers down for Ultra. 3v1, medals. Last guy up, can't win the fight. Fast one, is Ultra able to take it?
Honestly, you're probably not wrong. There really isn't much more that gets me going than that.
Like I mean, even when you watch like CS or like League, you'll watch a lot of esports. They're a real good player. Like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
I love it, dude. Love it.
The blood does flow.
As we get ready for our next one, Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. Welcome to Rio. Toronto up 3-1 in the map, 1-0 in the series. As last time it was the smoke to cut off the cross. We'll see what they opt to do this time. Smoke out again. The pre-fire through nearly takes out Kleenex. He sit down to 58. And yeah, even with the smoke, sometimes you got to be careful. You can still get lasered through it.
Yeah, and they're just trying to keep them honest, right? Just throw the smoke every single round, even when it is a fake. The problem is every time this has been a B fight, Heretics have lost it. They have lost these top B fights time and time again. All 3 rounds, Ultra has won. Looking for number 4, has been around the B bomb site. Here potentially comes a retake. Yeah, they're going to go for it. Maybe catch the timing. The bomb does get planted, but they're able to find 2, make it 3 behind Vickel's double.
Yeah, a little drop shot there. Can't get on point if you are inside and you fall. Now Kleenex, MVP from Major 1. Gets caught YY and gets dropped. Vickel puts on a show. 3 in the round. A much needed round now for Heretics. And yeah, it's like on the retake there, it's just like you have like all the headies to work with the stairs. Like it just felt like every gunfight we hopped to for Ultra, it's like sometimes you have the high ground per se, but not really. It's like you're working up ramps and everyone. Like you just have these nasty headies, tough fights.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just props to Heretics for going for that down a man, right? They could have allowed the bomb to get planted, had to group on up, but they actually catch the best timing while that bomb is being planted, right? So they're able to take down Scrap. Scrap's got to watch both.
If you guess right, you got a 4v3 if you can get it in.
Exactly. So they're able to group on up, and yeah, I think that's just the type of scenarios you're going to see on this map.
Well, people are going to try to hit sites. Like, can you take it when bomb's getting planted? Somebody's not gun up because they're dialing the digits. Scrap stun will hold for now, and here's like, one of the ramps I'm talking about. Like, you just get a nice little headies. You push up towards mid, but is mid control right now for Ultra. You're looking for an opening right now if you're Heretics. They're working at A site. Lone Man's going to be Metals on the other end of it, uninvolved right now.
Yeah, Envoy trying to find some info. He's just going to back down up. Inside a garage, he's just kind of chilling. But yeah, I mean, on offense, and this is what you can do, right? Just slow the game down, keep them guessing about where this side is, and you kind of have a 2-2 split. So this is what you want when you're waiting a round out this long, if you are the attacking team, because you'll have numbers on one of the sites.
Well, this would be one of those things. It's a map that's like smaller with a fast hits. Like, keep people honest, keep people guessing, play a little bit slower, maybe bait out an anxious play. Vickel does at least get one now. 3v3, but time is dwindling. They're able to get the plant down now. Always run the risk of a slow offensive round. Maybe a little too much pressure to get the bomb planted, but they're able to do it. Now all the pressure to Ultra to try and get the retake.
Oh, the stun doesn't connect, and then Scrap is able to win it. So Vickel's out of the play right now. Kind of just relying on Eric Boom to lock down the bomb site.
Got 3 in a round earlier. We'll see if Vickel has another clutch moment, but we're just about 20 to play. Kleenex is hopping on the bomb now. Working the defuse. Eric able to get one. Someone's going to get the check, though. Kleenex is still on it, and it is about done. He gets it. He gets it. Just gets the spot. Like, I had an opportunity there maybe to finish it, but it's always weird when you peek it, and there's like another player standing over him. Like,
I mean, honestly, he just needs help from Vickel there, right? There needs to be a double chow there. And that just comes down to insight, basically backing on Vickel from bridge. Ultra, nobody's be hitting from bridge side. Vickel backed all the way up. They just had to focus on those 2 staircases.
Yeah, you take one player out of the play, 3-on-1. Someone types a bomb, and they're able to get it done. 4-2 now for Ultra. They've dominated that B this time, bringing it over to A. Scrap trying with some long-range rival shots, able to get a couple headshots in, but no kill. Lucky Eric Boom lighting him up. Is Scrap now gonna have to make a play, but he's got Envoy to work with. The season's out of bomb, smoke out. Got Lucky on one side of him. Can they take out Vickel with the mid-cut? Envoy's back to playing around the stun.
And they're ready for this push through. You have 2 players here, but he's going to jump from the top ropes. The headshot does connect. It is a 1-on-2 for Scrap.
Hope he doesn't get wallbanged through the door again. This time it's through the open door. Gets dropped, gets fried. Every time Ultra, it feels, have a chance to maybe put this map away. Heretics keep it close. Back within a round.
And again, just that first blood from Lucky. As Vickel's up to 7-3, Vickel and Scrap. Obviously, they were on that Toronto Ultra Academy team in Vanguard when they were winning everything. Great pals, but now they are enemies.
Was that him that was talking about like how Scrap just running the room, like door closes? Oh no,
that's
Hixie.
Hixie.
Right. Dude, if I had a room like that, they get drop kicked. Like, my door's closed and somebody comes charging in. Like, you could be doing anything in there, Joe.
I think, yeah, he was just saying he's an energetic guy. He's always ready to do, you know.
Yeah, he said they were total utter opposites. Yeah. Vickle staying up. I feel like early round. So many times he's almost been dropped, but he's barely able to survive the engagement, avoid the nade for now. Is once again, you know, kind of these quick hits Ultra are trying, a little bit more spreading it out, looking for a pick right now if you were Heretics in back-to-back offensive rounds.
Yeah, because the fast hits just weren't working. They were working inside in favor of Ultra, but Ultra, they're sticking to mid-map control. Vickle trying to find it, but doesn't check for Scrap inside a bending corner. He's able to take down 2 and finesse his life away to give his teammates a 2-man advantage, and he's going to find the 3rd in the round looking for the ace.
Okay, this guy is just trying to get sassy with it now. 10-6, had an incredible map 1. The rival looking so good in Scrap's hands. We know how excited he's been to be able to play a bit more of a flex role, and you are seeing it here. Give him all 4. He is dialed.
And that's sort of the, you know, when you're going to give up mid-map control that way, you have to stun and nade check some of these corners. It's just a little bit too confident of a push right there, I think, for Vickle. Maybe if his teammate's checking that, doesn't see anything. But you give up an area, you got to check those corners.
Sometimes, well, we've all been there too, where like you kind of think you do sometimes. Like you like pan left or right, and you just don't look close enough, or it's just like this weird, awkward timing, and next thing you know, 2v gets shot in the back, and it's like, my bad. One more round. Now needed for Ultra medals, though. Not going down without a fight. Able to get the first blood, at least give them advantage early on. Scrap 11-6, though, 4 in a row leading the way, and hot off the major win, hot off the ace in the last round. Trying to get it done, and he is vibing. Able to get 1, backing down for now on 5 in a row now. Envoy gets 1. Envoy now on the bomb, trying to get it planted back to Scrap's POV.
Comes out to Lucky and Vickle. Lucky working that pinch, able to find 1. But I think he thinks that's the bomb planner, when it was actually Envoy who was still on it. He's able to back away. So you're into a 2-on-2 now. Shoulders being thrown, still a nade and a stun in hand. This is exactly what you need for the retake. They're able to find it now down to Insight.
Well, you're talking about the utility use need to be better in the last round. They're hitting everything here. The nade hits, the stun hits, the info's there. Insight getting chowed, caught, mantling, and dropped. It's like this moment where you can put it away, go like 3 rounds up or get the win in this case, and Heretics are able to chip away at it, stay within 1.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they threw that run away at first because you have the first blood, and then Metals and Eric Boom just kind of challenge a 2-on-3 without their teammates. You had Lucky working the pinch, and I just think when you get a first blood top middle on a map like this, I think you just back away, right? Just play your man advantage, use your stun nades, but they're able to clutch out that round and make me look real dumb.
You mean like don't even work the plant, like just get out for
or don't even.
Wait,
yeah.
Who got caught first?
It was Metals and Eric Boom, yeah.
No, sorry, I meant from Ultra once. They brought back. Down around, got to win 3 straight Heretics if you're going to do it. Trophy out, and they are flying. It's Scrap, though, on the bomb side. Heady, Scrap with another. Finally, he's going to drop, though. You might bring it back again. It'd be a 2v4. It was a fast flurry of trades, but we're quickly into a 2 versus 2. Tons of time to go. Envoy with some tags in. You're split right now if you're Ultra. You're playing pretty tight for the Heretics boys. Well, you were until Lucky died.
Yeah, Lucky gets picked. Vickle a minute to work with. Snap on Insight, but Insight with the reposition. Ultra, they win both Rios.
Those fights so tough sometimes. The drop shot gets in, you get down first if you're Insight and you're able to take the fight. You win both Rios, you're still looking to be in championship form. Granted, for Heretics, I mean, is this like what you want right after you make a change, like to be tested against the best, or is it more like what do we take away from this? Like we're playing the team hot off a major win where they dominated.
Well, I think what we talked about with Ultra, it's like both. Not only you have a roster change again, you're trying to figure out this game, figure out these maps, these new hills, these new spawns. So I think you're playing them tough, absolutely. But yeah, I think they're going to go back and say some of these maps you could have won, but Scrap again. 14 just won every gunfight top middle, it felt like.
Was it 25 and 18 in map 1, 2, or somewhere in that ballpark? Yeah, I think, we've always known how, when he has an AR in hand, he plays trying to think of what it reminds me of when he's playing flex, but like, almost like a, I don't know, Formal or somebody. Very, very aggressive at that position. Like Formal kind of changed the game for me when you talk about an AR in hand, like how fast he played and how aggressive he was. Scrap has done that, so you think, yeah, he probably wants sub in hand, probably play great, and we're seeing it, man. He looks very good.
Yeah, he does. And now you see right there, you're going to a Karachi control, which their best control map. So they are happy with how these maps and modes have played out so far. And yeah, you kind of heard Nayla talk about on the desk, how does this sort of upset happen? And I kind of agree with him. It happened in those first 2 maps because we don't know much about Rio. Yeah.
But it's also one of those things, yeah, it's where you hope to get the upset, but also when your team playing with confidence like you are, Ultra, you're obviously learning hardpoint and search and destroy faster than the other teams. Probably going to happen on the new maps too, and it's looking that way so far. So Ultra will go up 2-0. They'll look to close it out in a control. One that looked like a 3L with the Form Ultra have been playing in. They've been absolutely dominant. Your Heretics now with Eric Boom back on the roster. You're trying to get things rolling, bring it back. You had the easier part of the schedule to start the year. Now the matches are getting tough. We go to map 3 when we get back from this quick break.
Start the season strong with the Call of Duty League Pack. Grab yourself the CDL Operator, Weapon Blueprint, and so much more. Check out the Call of Duty store in-game now. Upgrade your game with the Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Slice up your competition with the Executive Chef Operator, now available in-game in the Call of Duty store.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have returned. We're back. Heretics Ultra CDL back in action. Couple week break after the major, but Ultra right back to it. They haven't lost a step. They've stayed real hot, Joe.
They have. What's also real hot, that CDL chef skin really is. I've been rocking that in game, so
yeah,
better look out.
Yeah. Oh, you did cook me a meal. But you cooked me a meal on Valentine's Day, didn't you? Wait,
No, that was yesterday.
No, yesterday was my birthday. No, wait. When I came over and ate like the teriyaki meatballs and stuff, wasn't that Valentine's Day?
I honestly don't know.
Did you unintentionally cook me a romantic dinner?
I might.
Wow, that's wild. I didn't even think about it.
I might have.
Joe's wife's out of town, so it's him and his son, and he invited me over for a romantic dinner. It's like, here we go. Map 3 underway as Ultra look to close this one out in efficient fashion and keep this dominant form going.
Yeah, we saw Lucky stats that right there, right at great stage 1 in control, but a lot of their control W's came on high rise and invasion, so we don't get that here. Obviously, maybe with Eric Boom, your preferences are a little bit different, your practice is different, so opting to go for Karachi control here.
Yeah, you mentioned like invasion. Something a little bit different, but will be the same result for Ultra. As the movement's there for Insight, they're finding the kills, 3 life advantage early.
Yeah, have one player finally get on side A. That's gonna be Vickle. Him and Lucky gonna take a couple of players down, scrapped from top AC. Nice shots, the headshot connection. That is the difference. I mean, if you have been playing ranked and you're like, how the heck did I just die? If you get 4-shotted by the MCW, that's because a couple of headshots connect, and that's really the big difference maker is that headshot multiplier.
Well, Insight was trying to work up like their 10 side junk. Like, you know, Heretics how they like to play this, just flood and keep it so frantic and keep the defense panicked towards B if they're able to get that going. But now it's number 6 Envoy in that position, trying to make sure they can't get into their setup. But they're able to take out Envoy. Let's see what they do behind that. The drop shot doesn't work for Vickle. It's Headies there for Scrap.
Yeah, let's say Eric Boom gonna try to work this pinch here, but Inside he's gonna read it. I mean, you have Kleenex over towards Red, so they know a lot of the pressure not working that way, so they're trying to develop something on the flank, but Inside ready for it. All the gunfights inside of Red going the way of Toronto Ultra so far.
This is where Heretics, if they can trade effectively, they end up getting a little bit nasty here and keeping the pressure on. The problem is they're not trading at all. They don't get a single kill. Ultra finds all of them. They lock it down. No pressure towards B so far. 50 seconds to go. Still a bit of a life advantage for Toronto Ultra. Now to Scrap's POV we go. Tough gunfight. Lucky able to drop him.
There's kind of this opening, though, right through the middle, right? The point is open because you have one player push on through. The other player is already junk side. So Vickle, he just kind of reads that. So he's able to find the one player off his spawn. Him and Lucky kind of just playing over towards the zone. But Lucky does get picked once again by Insight.
The past, this is where they found their success. Like, they find one opening and then they just hit it until finally they break through. The problem is this came through with so little time left. They only have 20 seconds left to go. About 30 when they finally got onto it. Envoy, he's on 5 in a row, but the spree will end there. Scrap now. Lurkin, looking for the kill. Easy does it. Stun, he hits him in the face with it, but drops before it's over. Inside's double, maybe going to end it, but one more player here that's a threat. That's Lucky. Lucky frying him, but Kleenex is there.
Yeah, I mean, just what? You've touched the point maybe a couple of times, and every single time we're on Karachi, normally when an offense is winning, they're inside a cafe just causing chaos. Someone's staying alive, finessing their life, and then you're just hoping for reinforcements to get there and trap them back out. It just never happens, so props to Ultra.
And the few times that we've casted Heretics here, they do just that. They create that chaos. They do it early, usually in transition from the first cap, but it was what? Kind of 3-4 clean sort of holds with those first pushes from Heretics. Ultra, I mean, that was a good minute off the clock or so before you found any kind of opening. If you can do that, not gonna be a lot of time left to work with. Now what can Ultra do on offense as they're looking to respect everyone's time with this first series?
Well, Scrap's trying to find the first blood. Envoy maybe just peeking, trying to look down through, and does find it. So 3 dead for Heretics. I'll spawn, make it all 4. What's going to be the call? Maybe just send Kleenex. Is Envoy going to pause the clock? Scrap's going to work the spawn kills.
Yeah, they're kind of layering the map, spreading out a bit. They're going to pick up Kleenex, though. Yeah, red insight. He's finding them. The reads are there. Snapping back towards the third. Call out comes in, but can't get the kill. Second tick now done. You've got a threat towards B. You got to clean stuff up here if you're Heretics.
Yeah, looks like Vigil is working that pinch, but he's going to get taken down. So he was with the 1-layer defense inside of red. Here comes the rest of the players off a spawn. Envoy not able to connect with the shots, but Eric, very weak. So there will be a trade, and you've had Kleenex on beat and 1 tick done.
You just saw him beaming with the rival, and kind of you were talking about earlier, gets away from you sometimes.
It's just sometimes, I don't know what it is. It's like the initial bullets don't hit and goodbye.
Last time we saw those POVs like snapping around like it's 3, and then they're just, it's going to be tough at times. But be done. Now you're really in trouble if you're Heretics. 1 more tick needed back on A. They're trying to track back, and it's like the map is flipped.
Yeah, it's just such a good job from Ultra, right? Just, again, getting the presence over towards Cafe and then just staying alive. They kept the 1 player on A for a little bit to get that second take done, but off his spawn, able to work B. They get it done. Now over to A. And this might just be the round. You have 1 player here in Vickle. Good luck retaking that. No nades that I can see are going to land, and Ultra up 2-0.
Absolutely dominating. So far here, they make the offense look easy. The rare B first cap comes in, and then they're able to put it away. Envoy had some big plays throughout it. 12-7 so far in this map 3. And I mean, maybe you're frustrated right now if you're Miami, but I don't know. It's one of those things. You made a team change. You're playing the best team in the league.
Yeah, only so much you can take away from this. But you see Envoy smiling a little bit, now just trying to lock down this final round to win this series.
Got 2 on it early here for Heretics. But
got 2 off of it, real.
And the entire team is dead shortly after. I say something positive, sort of, about Heretics. As Ultra, the cleanup crew, continues to wreck. 4 in a row, 4 scrap. Is they're farming now. I mean, look at their position. They've got them pinned. You feel you're watching like a high rise. They've got them locked.
Yeah, we don't see this often on
You really don't, do you? Because there's rarely a 4 clean down like that.
Yeah, clean 4 dead. You have top 3 control. Obviously, you get out of Coop, who's at Vickle, but never mind. He's going to get set back to spawn.
They're putting back in the Coop.
Yeah, right back to it. Now you have a cruise missile, which again, trophies don't save you from this anymore, so they are very, very strong. Yay. Thank you, Sledgehammer, for that change, by the way. We appreciate it, but Vickle does find 2. Scrap showing a little bit of extra love, but 30 seconds left, and you finally get out of the trap.
Yeah, he was on 7 in a row, I think. I mean, you saw 2 great defensive sides here from Ultra. You do it a little bit differently. The first time you hold after you lose the first point. You hold like 4 pushes. You milk the time. This time you are just...
It's not over yet. We're on both points, baby.
Toying with your food, but... You're right. There's 25 seconds left. Finally out of the trap is Heretics. That chance to make a play. Maybe get a little too confident if you're Ultra.
You know this is a commentator, mate. It's never over until it's over.
And now you're getting dominated. You shoot bodies. You're feeling good. Streaks are in. And suddenly everything goes haywire. But now you got to turn it up and dial in again. The great teams could do it. Ultra reeling it back in as they're able to pick up 2. Nice snap there, I thought, from Lucky, but Scrap will put him down.
And now you have to slow things down here if you are Heretics. There's only 10 lives remaining.
Yeah, you're down big.
You're a little bit staggered. Obviously, you don't want to give up map control. That's why you have Metals in this position. You have Eric Boom in that spot, but if you bleed out, you can just lose all the lives. But Metals able to snap and gets out of the point, finessing. That's going to be 3 dead. The last player alive, Kleenex, he's in the back. Trying to get the challenge. The challenge comes through from the dumpster alley. And there we go. 3 dead. What looked like the most dominant round of Karachi control so far this year gets flipped on its head.
Unbelievable. They were getting fried. Like, you're getting streaked in spawn, absolutely farmed. You finally get out, and I don't know. Is that just like, you think that was a moment where Ultra kind of just get a little too confident with the position they had there? You're shooting bodies a bit, like, oh, we've got this one, and just sort of gets away?
I mean, maybe. I just think they just kind of, they were a little bit staggered. You had 2 players over towards A, 2 players towards B, and then once Scrap gets taken down, I think another player drops, and they just go right to both points.
It's just wild how crazy it went from, like so clean to so messy from, like, a defensive standpoint. From in your spawn to on both points in the blink of an eye. Welcome to Call of Duty. But now you climb back in this one. You're still alive in the series. You got to get a win here if you are Heretics. And the guns are starting to get hot. Where it was all Ultra, see a lot more orange in the feed.
Yeah, now you have what? Cruz on Eric Boom to work with, so you have that to work either in this round or in round number 5. So a little extra utility. And now you kind of have this dominant setup where you're in top 3 control. You have them with 2 players trapped coop side. And they're just trying to get out of this, is Ultra, and it is not working out so far.
Dude, anything you can do, we can do better. Now they're trying to get him pinned.
Oh, you didn't see him.
Milk what time they can. 45 seconds left to go. You still have to get A. Someone just picked up this map and flipped it on its head. Or Heretics just decided now it's time to play.
I don't know. Yeah, just, I mean, I'm sure the comms started getting going, but after they win that round, now you have 5 in a row on for Vickle. So maybe another cruise missile to be earned. Then you'd have 2 to work with. Eric Boom has been in this position for a while, and 25 seconds left, only 1 takedown a day.
This is such an odd little sequence. These past like 5 minutes of gameplay. Heretics dominant, but now you get a couple of kills, and maybe you can start to get back on it, but Vickle and Lucky not letting it happen. 1 player to pause the clock for a second will be Insight, but now the streak is going to come in. What can he find with it? Eric Boom goes boom. Insight taken out of it. 8 to go. You gotta try and stop the clock, get on if you can. Obviously, he'll try another round to work with, and well, you're gonna need it. What looked to be a certainty now is a round 5. Heretics. The passion's flowing.
I mean, what a turnaround.
Dude, I'm trying to think of, like, what's it compared to, like, how lopsided it was? Just like, bang.
Yeah, I mean, they turned this around. Now we'll see who has round 5 defense, because I wasn't counting ticks after the first couple of rounds, but
I can't say the one that it always makes me think of, like, the one thing that I always say, and JCap gets pissed, so I'm not going to say it.
Okay, don't say it.
Yeah.
We don't want JCap mad. Yeah. Okay, so with the round 1 defense,
it involved the United and Envy.
Why would you say that? You could have said, like, phase LADs.
Yeah, true. That's a good one.
All right, 100.
No, it's just weird. Like, it's not comparable at all, but, like, that's what comes to my mind anytime it's, like, something. Like, whoa.
But now they have a defense, and Lucky's going to look for another cruise.
See if they have a successful early round again. Last round, the first time I feel like Ultra, really, that opening break, they were so good at. This time they're finding the success again. As they're able to get onto it, Scrap able to assist Envoy there, pick him off the point. Scrap gets another headshot. He's up to 21 and 16. Missiles actually kill people now. It's a lovely thing.
Yeah, so Vickle does enter, but he's actually getting pinched by Scrap right now off spawn. So maybe now you transition over towards B. Does Toronto Ultra. You still have 1 player at A. They're able to find that second take, but Lucky with some base shots on the Scrap to get him off that point. I say, because Kleenex was there to help him out if you wanted to transition that area from red, but not going to happen. But this is kind of what Ultra wants, right? Keeping it scrappy, not allowing them to set up that B defense. There's 1 player left in Vickle.
Exactly. You got the 1 kill, sure, at the cafe, but you had more people here from Ultra to still keep this interesting towards our B point. Make sure you can't get set up, get comfortable defensively if you are Heretics.
They are still trying to find Vickle, but there he is.
Vickle dropped. Now in round 5 with 2 minutes to go and a 6 life advantage. Ultra look to close this out efficiently in a 3-0 fashion. Metals, though, want no part of it. They'll still hold here defensively. For now, he wins another one. Some big multi-kills from Metals in these last couple of rounds.
They're not having the best map, but
it's actually the last 3 times he's gotten a double. I swear they're wrong with him. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I don't know how he's 12 and 24, because every time we watch him, he's frying.
It's because when you're running a sub on this map, you just get put in the absolute blender. That just depending on some of these timings that happen. But Ultra is still here. They still have that 6-7 life advantage now. So you're looking at Lucky here to go, baby, that's going to be all 4 dead, and maybe the heroics from Heretics are going to stop right here.
Yeah, it was an uninteresting series until this map 3. Heretics decide to battle, but the progress is in. Ultra on the point. Your Major 1 champs get it done. They lock it back in for that round 5 in a wild one. It's like usually I feel like when the crazy like things happen in Control, it's like, I don't know, the round 5 on an invasion, or like that final round, like something wild happens. That was the middle of the game. It stopped making sense, but at the end of the day, it's another W for Ultra.
Yeah, I think what helped him out a lot was just the break off of that round, right? If you look at rounds sort of 3 and 4, obviously you have the big turnaround, but even round 4, Heretics, they dominated the start, right? Gave them so much momentum. Toronto Ultra in that round 5, they just kind of got into their setup. Envoy was on the point. They slowed the clock down. It just turned into a comfortable round there for Ultra.
Heretics, obviously you've got some VOD to watch against the best team, work for the coaching staff, continue to try and improve with Eric Boom, but the fact is, the map 1 was pretty competitive until pretty late in it. Search and Destroy, you had some brilliant moments where you had a shot, got very competitive here in map 3, but time will tell with this new team with Eric Boom.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, just kind of how it plays out. Ultra looking good on Rio. Scrap with the sub. Dominant, even dominant right there in game number 3, so he is doing his thing.
Well, through the rest of the league, you're kind of hoping Rio doesn't end up being a good map for Ultra.
Yeah.
Because the more, typically, the later you get in the year, the wider your map pool, the more you can get an advantage in the vetoes, the better you get. Might be another one. Granted, we've watched 1 search and 1 hard point, but that'll do it for Joe and I. Ultra, continue to stay hot. Puckett, it's all you, buddy.
Thanks, Maven. Thank you, Merck, and congratulations to Toronto, making us all look right here with our predictions. The fans were right as well, and a lot of us saw 3-0 coming. So let's walk everyone through how it happened. Rio, our first 2 maps, Toronto looking comfortable.
Yeah, when we were first talking about Rio, I definitely was like, Toronto Ultra's one team. I don't think I want to play on that map mode, and they proved it here very early in the series. I think the most impressive, though, was definitely the Search and Destroy, because they looked so put together so early on a map that got put into the map pool very recently. Toronto Ultra, once again, proving why they are the team that won our Major 1.
Nameless, let's take a look at some of the highlights here, and let me know if you agree with Hedgehog's comment in our YouTube chat. He says, Scrap is the next LeBron James of gaming.
Hey, maybe. Listen, dude, but I think LeBron talks a little less trash. But, in this series, Scrap was having his way, especially in that S&D. They led the first blood battle 7-3. Oof. Like we talked about at Rio, you can bang some things out. We saw some great A pushes, some good B pushes as well. But the best map this series was by far this Control. You saw here, Scrap started to shoot some bodies, and Heretics were like, all right, it's time to get going. And you heard Clint and Joe talking about it, in that last round is the break off, right? Like they get out, they get A, and then you saw sort of the slow transition over there from A into red. Once Toronto gets control of your red, they never give it up. Insight was bottom ticket for about 30 seconds, just staying alive. Despite Metals finding the 2 pieces, the pressure is still coming in from the side of Toronto Ultra, and all it takes is 1-4 dead, and the round is over, and that's exactly what happens there at the end. But this is the first look from Heretics with Eric Boom, and it's safe to say he needs to play a bit better. It is that first series against the champions of the last tournament, mind you, and on this last map, Chris, he started to look a little bit more comfortable as it went on.
Yeah, he was 7-17 to open things up. Next time we look up, he's basically even. The problem I had there was Metals was also shut down, so both of your SMGs getting taken care of business. How long does it take to really feel comfortable with an SMG duo? How long do you expect Miami to go through some of these rough patches?
It might take them a couple of matches. When we talk to players, one of the biggest overhanging things is that scrims don't always translate into the online matches. So for this Miami Heretics team, scrims could have been going well, and then they got to the matches and things weren't translating. So for Miami Heretics, I think we give them a little bit of wiggle room here with this new roster.
Let's take a look here at our play of the game. It comes from no other than the one and only trash talker from the purple squad up north. Scrap, the New Jersey boy, diamonds in his ears, and he's got an ace up his sleeve.
Yeah, he was using the SMG. We saw him get so many first bloods. He ran down mid on offense and defense both times. Gets pushed up to the vending, finds one, gets the nasty 2-piece, and then Scrap, he's always just going to be challenged. So he goes, he gets around back, finds the 3rd, and cleans it up for the ace. Scrap is just an absolute monster.
And that, of course, is with the rival. That's an SMG in his hands, ladies and gentlemen.
He can use any gun. Like, when you're talented like that, you can pull out any weapon.
That's what's so annoying about Scrap, right? Is like he talks a trash, and he somehow just backs it up every single time. And I think that's what makes everybody kind of put him on watch.
We've got our Monster Winner Spotlight right now live with Scrap's teammate Envoy joins us from Toronto. The internet looks pretty good, and the team looks very comfortable, almost as comfortable as you did in Boston, Envoy. How you doing?
Good, man. I mean, yeah, we got some new maps in, some changed hills, changed spawns, so relearning the game to an extent, but we're still enjoying it.
And that's my first question for you here is taking a look at your series. You guys get it done 3-0. Everyone was wondering, how are the SMGs in Rio going to affect your game? How do you feel you performed?
I mean, honestly, in scrims, I've been loving Rio, so I was happy to get a match rep on it, and it plays a little bit different, but the thing is, I think it fits our playstyle really well. And we were just like running at them the whole map. I'm sure the playstyle will evolve, but for now, it's a fun map.
Obviously, there's a lot to talk about because not only was there new maps, but also a lot of, as you said, hills have changed, maybe some spawns, even some guns had some changes to them. Do you find that this new patch update has, maybe helped Toronto in some way? Maybe it was a little bit more of a setback. How do you think you guys are going to feel moving forward on this newer patch?
I would say that like right now in our scrims, there's still a lot to learn on the new patch, just because I feel on some maps there's like a lot of inconsistencies like Invasion. So it's really just trying to work out like a general game plan of how we want to play the map and what the best way to go about it is. So, I mean, yeah, that's all I really got to say about the new maps. Just a lot to learn.
Envoy, we haven't talked to you since stage 1 after one of you guys wins. So throughout stage 1, the search and destroy wasn't looking that great. And, that was one of the talk points headed into the tournament. We get there, you win every S&D 6-3, 6-2. You guys just dominating. And then we see this Rio look absolutely dominant once again. What changed in search? Are you making the play calls? What was the big difference throughout Major 1?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely making a lot of play calls, but I think the overall strategy for us is just like showing a bunch of different looks and not being one-dimensional. I think at the very beginning of the stage, we were pretty one-dimensional of how we played, a lot of the same strats, and now I think we just give teams a lot of different looks, and they have no clue to what to expect. So just going to keep trying to evolve in that sense, and hopefully we can keep the streak alive.
Was that something that was rehearsed, or did it sort of just click throughout Major 1?
I feel like it's a lot to do with the maps, to be honest. I feel like when you play like maps like Invasion, it's really easy to fall into like a one-dimensional, like do the same strat on every defense type flow, and it's just like about getting out of that for us and really working on the first bloods. I mean, I feel like we have really good first blood conversion, and that obviously is really good in S&D. So to have that, it's really translated into our round wins.
Envoy, final question is not about your team, it's about your ranked plays so far. We have some old legends in the top 250. I'm talking Nameless here on the desk. I'm talking Nade Shot. Dad is getting it done there in LA. Have you matched up with anyone fun in ranked recently?
I haven't matched up too much in ranked. I haven't been playing much myself. If I'm matching up with anything, it's cheaters. They're running rampant, but hey, maybe I'll find myself in top 250 here soon.
Well, if you could come hand them a few L's, we'd appreciate it. You get tomorrow off. We'll see you on Sunday.
See you Sunday. Thank you, guys.
That's Envoy and Toronto Ultra getting our first dub of the night. Remember, they are back in action in their second battle on Sunday. If you want to follow your favorite teams, all you got to do, sync your calendar, Allie. It's easy.
Sync your calendars. If you have a goldfish brain like I do and you forget things and need to put them into your calendar, scan that QR code today or go to callofdutyleague.com/schedule and you'll add your favorite teams to their 2024 schedule to earn the squad up calling card as well as staying up to date.
Subliners are hoping they have a goldfish memory because they're going up in a rematch against Carolina, who sent them packing in Boston. That's coming up next, live here from the CDL.
Slice up your competition with the Executive Chef Operator, now available in-game in the Call of Duty store.
Upgrade your game with the SCUF, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Check out all the awesome in-game rewards you can earn for free just by watching the Call of Duty League. What's on tap this weekend? An all-new lineup including a weapon blueprint, emblem, calling card stickers, and XP tokens. Just link your YouTube account now to start earning.
Welcome back. Major II qualifiers are live. It's day one, and already Toronto with the first win in the books. Now we have our second match ready, and it's the other team from that World Championship Finals, the team that won the 2023 World Championship. Subliners are going up against the Royal Ravens here, now playing for Carolina.
Yeah, and the Subliners, they just got to get a lot better. I mean, you're talking about New York Subliners, a team that brought in Sib thinking that they were going to pack a punch, and it has not been great. Their hardpoint needs to improve, and in this series, we're seeing a sub base, which is a map that they haven't played too often.
All right, let's take a look at these maps and modes. Allie, break it down for me. What are you seeing? How close can this series be?
Well, I know we're playing on a new patch, but if you remember back in Major 1, New York got sent down by Carolina, and we do have that same map number 2, Invasion, Search, and Destroy. So I am worried when it comes to New York simply because they're not very strong in those games 2 and 5.
Nameless, are you surprised to see Rio there as the ban for Search and Destroy from the Subliners?
Not particularly, but what I'm surprised about, Chris, is that Rio made it through and neither team picked it, especially New York. That's a map I expect them to be good at in Hardpoint. It made it through in Hardpoint. They didn't decide to pick it. They actually picked Subbase, which is a map that they're 0-1 on. So clearly they made some strides there in practice.
All right, it's time to make our pick'ems official. The Scuff pick'em is in for Chris Puckett as I choose the team that I always do from New York City. It's the Subliners.
That's fair. Is that kind of slight bias because you live there?
I think so, yeah. And I'm wearing their shirt today. Thanks, guys.
I am going to go. I need to try and catch up to you guys, so I'm going to go for the underdog in this series and go Carolina Royal Ravens.
Royal Ravens?
Yeah.
That is not a bad pick, especially after seeing the maps. It just seems like New York, but I'm going to go with New York anyways. I think New York take it. Too much talent on that team.
Royal Ravens? Let's see where the fans are at. All right, Allie's chance to catch up. Otherwise, we're pulling away. We got your casters on the mic for this one. Bryce, Chance, how you guys doing?
Very good, thank you. Much like a bad smell, I am back once again, but yes, delighted to be with Chance for this one. A little bit of a revenge matchup, New York versus the Ravens.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one as well, because I know for Carolina, like, the dust is finally settled. You've, like, found your, like, maybe not finalized roster, but the finalized roster, and now you can actually take the time to get some experience and repetitions in. I know for Carolina specifically, they basically went into the major without any real S&D scrim time practice, so I know that's certainly going to be a focal point for these guys going into this new qualifying stage. And, of course, on the flip side, your world champs that plays top 12, I obviously have high expectations for these guys to bounce back, but they do have to prove it.
Yeah, they certainly do, and it can be a long way back to the top. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen a New York roster do exactly that, as both teams now dive into the sub-base. It's been an interesting kind of turn of events all the way from Boston to here, with the new patch hitting new maps and new opportunities on that road to Miami.
And, you know, new opportunities is always a great time to maybe lose yourself on the new map. I know a couple key rotations are really just that P3 is going to be the biggest difference maker. Of course, the new sub-hill altered as well. But I'd say this is a map that plays, like, fairly similarly to how it was before, just with, like, two sort of big differences. But we're not there yet. We're still on P1. We're New York Subliners. Absolute stranglehold on the map. They have everything covered. They have a very comfortable rotation. Skies and Hydra set up, ready to go.
And that's what they want. Good thing there's been a lot of soul searching in this camp since Boston. It's never good for the World Championships to have a bad first outing, but they're looking to prove to everybody here in this next split that maybe that was just a bit of a fluke or a trip up in their journey for the rest of the season. And right now, they're doing exactly that. It looks all one-sided to the Subliners.
Yeah, this is quite literally perfect. I mean, they had every single cut pushed out. You get the top warehouse control. Carolina have now spent 30 seconds just trying to work through the middle of the map. And even if you open yourself up with a few gunfights, Kismet, the Thorn in their side, in the back pocket, they'll shoot you in the back. And, I mean, this is just easy pickings for the players around the hill. Hydra might slide out and chow, but that's just because his teammates are comfortable inside at the time. And this is going to be a perfect full 60. I don't even know if TJ is going to be able to contest it for a moment. So, yep, just about every single second collected. And obviously with a lead like this, Carolina do have the rotation. They need to respond. Those 2 kills are not going to be the good start. Good news, though, at least the players spawn in the back.
Opportunity here for the Ravens. Have to hold. You can already see the players dropping in. Hydra from the top rope, and Skies will get the second one as well. One player left alive. Only TJ to keep them at bay as all the Ravens are falling. Fortunately, a good spawn, but splits for them as well. The pressure's still mounting here for the Ravens, and TJ will eventually fall. But with Felony here at the back, they still have an opportunity, but an opportunity blown away by the wind. But TJ now spawning here as well, Chance.
Yeah, round 2 now for TJ to go against Sib. First time the headset was what costed him, and that time just gunny. Sib gonna drop him, and that is now 3 hills in a row where New York Subliners effectively able to do whatever they want. So brand new look at that new hill. Subliners clearly have just a leg up on that category, as the slang right now out of control. Sib has died a single time. Kismet has only died twice. Might have jinxed him for the moment, but here in the cruise off of the first 2 hills, now it's time for it to do some damage. Should be a guarantee on the players outside, so Felony gonna meet his early demise, soften up the push, get some power positions in. Subliners swarming around the new hill.
And they're ready for this one as well. That cruise so crucial now with the trophies being nerfed against it. You can see the Ravens desperately trying to hold on here. It's a great hold eventually, the kind of hold they needed with 40 seconds left back onto this hill. And they've pushed out as well. This is great for them now. The Subliners finally getting a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, this is finally, like, you know, the great news. Signs of life. Just give them something around that hill. Get the kills flowing your way. TJ going on a 3 spree as well. His gun's been a little bit slow, and maybe Felony can be that next guy in line to start to pop off just a little bit. For the final 20 seconds, see Clayster, old man's got the moves, sets his teammates up for the kills, and that's a 3-man wipe as well on the rotation. TJ now in prime position to play for the spawners. 2 guys going to come into his line of sight, or Sib ahead of the game. Make sure you take down that key man. Now Subliners back to about a 50-50 face smash into the new hill.
We're massively outnumbered here. Stays alive and gets one. Eventually falls to Sky, who picks the perfect pixel. And now you can see that the Ravens are struggling. They have lost control of this one. TJ going to be the furthest ahead. Wants to wait for some teammates, though. The trades will not be in his favor. As New York, they lock this in.
And again, for the way that that started to him, TJ in the power position, things could have spiraled out of control. Now Carolina investing the cruise missile, does pick up an extra kill, but Sib again just on a kills front on this hill has been keeping his team in it. The initial kill he finds on TJ, and then even with the cruise rolling through, picks up 2 more. So this is a hill Subliner should have been massively behind on. Instead, they turn it into a positive, and I mean, maybe the signs of life from Carolina have slowed down a touch. So they'll pick up a nice little feed, though. So they've even up the odds. Going to be about, what, a 40-point game after that first set of rotations. So Carolina, a little bit more work to get in the mix. And Clayster, another kill. He will get a cruise.
I think the key changing point in this one is the Ravens. Their teamwork has looked much better as this game has gone on, starting to fight back every single step of the way. But these next few kills are going to determine P1. Keep an eye on Clayster. He is playing for position only, just making sure he can do something, but already being tagged up. Will have to dip away here with 19 health.
And keep in mind, for the dipping away, he does need to get this cruise missile, right? They are massively impactful on the new patch. Trophies no longer stop them. So you want to take your time to play for it. Clayster took his time and he got it. So there are absolutely a few different hills on this map. Cruise missiles now can have a massive impact on. And then the actual impact on the hill, Carolina getting this time. 4 players right now from New York Subliners, maybe just 3, working their way towards those P2 spawns, trying to make sure they stop the bleeding. You exchange a bit of time on P1, but you want to make sure you win this rotation, and Felony trying to take it from them. That's a good start.
This is where they fell last time, just weren't able to get anything going, but they are here. They do have the numbers. Couple of the Subliners already in, though. Kismet does not turn, and they clean house. Back to spawn you go, Subliners. Time to run the gauntlet.
Yeah, no one's made it on the cross just yet. You see Subliners taking their time, trying to group up together, doing it as a complete unit. Gonna be Skies and Hydra leading that charge, and maybe Hydra even thinking about the flank or go for the double doors. Felony's gonna meet him just to slow him down. Kill's going to Carolina's way for the moment. You see, still have New York Subliners just towing at it. People in the doors, people on the flanks looking for to get the timing right. The comms, though, for Carolina on point. You read the flank, you get the kills, you shut them down, and now, for the first time this map, basically, Carolina Ravens, they have the lead.
Oh, but still my beating heart. A lead change now for these 2 teams. And the Ravens last time, they made an absolute mess of the rotation. They're going to have to find something a little bit better here. And this really could go either way, Chance.
Yeah, and I mean, Carolina, again, the comms had to be on point for this hill to read the flank. So let's go to a quick listen in and just confirm.
Thanks, I went left. You want me to hit left? I'm top. I'm top. I don't want to streak on this. I don't want to streak on this hill.
Another one low P5. Dante on the stairs.
One shot low stairs. Save one shot low stairs.
I got around back left. I'm just staying alive.
He's on tunnel. Yo, P2.
Caesar weekend time. Caesar
P2. Kisman, one shot A2.
2 in time.
Caesar
and Paco. And one's top on me. Dante dead. There's 2 in time. He chopped me off. It's Hydra and
A2. Don't forget.
I hear you, look, P5 from rapping.
Light on you, bro. Light weak.
One
running around Plaid. Back out, one shot on me, dead.
Nice, good up.
Let's go, P5.
Could be top P5.
Sib, missing Sib and
yeah, I'm getting top.
Paco.
I'm getting top.
Go for it. I'm holding mid.
He's
Careful the water route. Careful. Sib and Hydra.
Did you kill that guy?
Yeah, kill him. No. Okay. Nice. Yo, careful water routes here, bro.
Yeah, we're missing Sib.
I have a streak still.
They could.
Use it.
One is done left. Can you hold my low P5?
Holding your left. I have your left. They could be in water, though. He's on me mid P1. Fuck.
P1, our side.
I'm backing up. Does that have anything for me? Like, I'm gonna spawn out, bro.
I'm gonna have your mid lane.
No, I didn't. I'm coming back to hill. I'm coming back to hill for you.
He's pumping P2, guys.
Shooting me from mid map, mid lane or something. Mid lane or something.
I'm on one. Mid lane again. There's 2. I got 1. I'm on 2
one mid lane.
Inner lockers, one shot.
Bottom single, gonna chow you.
I spawned out. Stay down low. In
low on you weak. He's been low on you weak. Slow
on me. There's 2 front computers.
2 front cat room. Go me right.
Spawning me out, bro. I just one shot cat room. One shot loading kids. One shot loading kids.
Cat room and top computer. One top computer. Well, I'm streaking. Stay alive front.
Trying to.
And with the Carolina comms, you can hear despair bleeding into the edge of their voices. They knew they had lost that hill at the last point. But over to the rotation we go. A very close game still between them. This is now a slug match between the New York Subliners and the Carolina Royal Ravens.
Yeah, and Kismet's going to be the player on new to meet Carolina as well. He was the thorn on their side on the previous hill. Absolute nuisance. And now towards new, you're going to have Subliners in control of the hill first with that 30-point lead. So Carolina, there is not a lot of time to waste. You need to get these kills quick.
They went for it, and Quinn's going to find Hydra before he can get away. TJ will find a second one as well. They're going to get the first initial bit of time here onto this. Clayster already moving up, trying to make a nuisance of himself. Who does he find? Who does he see? Eventually will find Kismet. Does make that first kill as well, and they are making things difficult now for New York! And eventually he will fall, but Body's still in favor of the Carolina Royal Ravens.
Oh, look at these spawns, though. Yeah, Clay just comes off spawn and gets shot in the back 2 seconds in. So you got a 2-front war right now Carolina trying to deal with. TJ Felony and Gwyn, though, they lock it down. It's Sib last man standing. Can't get the freebies. Gwyn's gonna read it, and that is a 4 spree on time. Gwyn is out here making plays.
Lock in. Kismet's gone Aquaman. He's going for the break by himself. Clayster must need to be aware of this, but no, already got one. Flies out towards the back, and will that be enough here onto this P1 as well? Ravens have the lead, but not the position.
And Gwyn gets dealt with as well. So there you go. Yeah, they're going to have the positions. They're going to have the spawns. You're going to be able to control this. This is a P1 where they technically could win off of this hill. You have long-term, though. Clayster's taking a route just to try to open up the spawns. He gets turned on. Kismet guns him in the feed, and now it's all guns forward. Players coming through glass. Not a place you always want to flood. It is just going to be a slugfest back and forth. Hydra going to be playing for these errant kills. The time is white, which means we are going to be going towards new, but still, with those left side spawns under control for New York Subliners, they still have an edge in this game.
They've got off of it now, so it certainly will be. I don't know if they've got the tick for this, but it's going to be very, very close. But Hydra just making a nuisance of himself. You are right. This is all about the rotation now. Both teams are going to be sweating buckets. Every kill important. Every movement must be perfect. Sib finds 2 as well, and that could be enough.
And again, even Clay gets caught. That is like hero play after hero play. Carolina just desperate for someone to make it through. Gwyn now the furthest player pushed up on the map, but they're reading him the entire time. Hydra gonna hunt him down and gun him down, and now set up a new 10 seconds to go when Subliners get this game.
Sib has been great so far, has to be great again. They pile in. Felony and Clayster will get him. They have got the points down. They are throwing bodies at this. The Bulldog from behind finds 1, finds 2, not the third. Gwyn for the win, maybe. He gets a 2-piece himself, holding on by bleeding fingertips. And now New York are on the back foot. They have to run through the middle of the map.
Hey, Gwyn guy's in a sweet spot, man. That man is in the point, collecting the time, and he is gonna fry. It is a tight setup in New York Subliners. You get 1 break attempt.
Everybody lock in, laser focus, it's time to go. 5 seconds before everybody else, and it will be the Ravens who fill the kill feed with despair. It's a jump in, it's a Clayster, it's a win for the Ravens. Revenge will not be felt on map 1 for New York. The Ravens have put them in their place again.
Hey, that is, dude, such a cheeky win from Carolina as well. A couple chuckles, a sigh of relief, the pop off from Clayster. But, dude, what a game. I mean, that starts off for New York Subliners. The first 3 hills were like virtually perfect. Kismet got that early cruise missile. They locked down P2 for a full 60. They built themselves a gargantuan lead. I mean, I think Felony started off 3-10. TJ started off 1-7. So it took a long time before Carolina to start to shoot back. But I mean, almost like the tide. Like, it just kept coming. The waves kept crashing. And I don't even know how Carolina get the break on P2 towards the end. Like, TJ tries to sprint through P2. He gets caught. Clayster tries to go through long on the full flank. He gets caught. Like, everybody was getting gunned down. And then eventually, like, the dam just breaks. And Carolina able to flood inside the point. And, I mean, here's Clay. That's a nice little 3 spree to help make the break on P2. Gwyn also goes on a streak and wins that crucial 1 versus 1. So, I mean, it's just, I guess, like, the big gunny plays coming in from Carolina towards the end.
And he thought all the work New York did, every bit they put into that P1 control. And maybe all they needed was a Hydra on that hill for a few more seconds, but he was playing for position. They didn't want to give it away. And they got the rotation. I thought it was done, but Ravens, they find the kills they needed to. They made the plays they had to. And they get the W as a response.
And, you know, that actually is pretty funny that you point that out. Anytime you have a 5-point game in hardpoint, if you go back through, like, with a fine-tooth comb, you can just find all of those, like, places you could have had that extra 5 seconds. And I think you're exactly right. Hydra dancing around P1, looking for spawners and playing for the cutoff kills, just leaving that white time on the hill. It makes sense to do because, like, Subliners had control of the rotation, so it is good plays, but it is funny how hardpoint just punishes you towards the end. But yeah, clearly a nail biter on those final 3 hills. It took Carolina a long time to make up for the deficit up until the P2 on the second set of rotations is where they were first able to take the lead. But I mean, that's a battle of the game number 1. Carolina obviously showing off the good stuff there. And now the real question for this team is the map number 2, the invasion, and more specifically the search and destroy. I know that is going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest focus point for Carolina. Again, they have not been looking good throughout Major 1. Scrim time they're able to get in search and destroy is the massive factor there. Now they've had an extra few weeks to figure some stuff out, get the strats going, and show off the good stuff. We get to see them against New York Subliners from map number 2. Should be a good one.
Yeah, it's certainly true. I actually completely forgot about I want to talk about Kismet going through the water. Like, he knew he needed that map positioning. Clayster completely blindsided by it. And realistically, that was kind of the story of it as well. New York looked so good at points. When we kicked this map open, I thought it might have been a bit of a bloodbath. The New York Subliners coming off a loss, hungry for revenge against the Ravens. And it looked like it. Problem is, the Ravens fought back with incredible teamwork. But for New York Subliners, the only way really now is up.
And we're going to take a look at the Monster Energy pregame sort of stats that we have for the New York Subliners. And again, for S&D, a 9-3 record overall. They've been one of the best in the game, but the problem is the respawn, which obviously map number 1 sort of lived up to that reputation. So they're certainly going to be looking for the quick bounce back against Carolina. It is sort of like best case scenario, one of the best search and destroy teams in the game going against Carolina, who has been one of the worst. Obviously, a lot of questions can be answered in the 2-week break that we had after Boston, but you certainly have high expectations for them. And, you know, got to give some credit. You're talking about Kismet. He was popping off on the map number 1 as well. Like, they were making good plays. They just got beat towards the end, but definitely want to pay a great deal of attention towards the Bulldog, see if he can show off the good stuff on map 2.
Well, let's find out. For New York, this might just be a little bit of a mental reset. They have had an inordinate amount of flack, obviously, in the break we've had since Boston. Nobody expected a team of this talent and caliber to go out top 12. And for me, I felt like, you know, it's one of these ones, it's probably too early to tell to see how this goes for the rest of the season. I still have faith in the New York Subliners. I hope they have faith in themselves. But on the other side of it, the Ravens are ready to rumble. You know, they took this team out last time in Boston. They'll be looking to do the same again and get those points on the board, Chance.
You know, and again, if you're bringing up the Monster Energy stats and you talk about their search and destroy, when I say one of the worst in the league, I do mean the worst in the league. Win rate has just been brutal. They're like, again, even just on a first blood front, they are finding no success. Players like historically that are fantastic at search and destroy, TJ Hallett being the prime example. His stats have also been abysmal on this team for search and destroy. Again, I think that is a sort of, TJ being a symptom, certainly not the cause. Again, just sort of a broken environment, not being able to scrim, search, and destroy. So you're taking a team that is at 12th. If they turn around and even become like an average search team, their stocks are going to go through the roof, but they do have to prove it first.
Yeah, they certainly do, and this tells the entire story of what we're expecting. First versus 12th, basic opposite ends of the league when it comes to search and destroy. For New York, this should be a good map for them, a reset since what happened not only in that first map, but Boston as well. Realistically here, the Ravens, they have a chance to do something wonderful. I don't know how their scrims have been going in this break and how everything has been for them, but maybe, just maybe, they've been putting a lot of work into S&D.
Oh, I'm sure that they have. It's going to be the major talking point for these guys in the downtime without question. But it is going to be an interesting matchup because, as you pointed out, New York Subliners, I'm on the same page as you, Bryce. I fully expect them to bounce back, go back to being in that top 4 slot, and competing for championships. I think they're going to be just fine. But at the same time, at some point, when does the doubt really start to kick in? Because last year, New York Subliners had a tournament or two where they bottomed out, and obviously they bounced back as world champions. So a very capable team. But, I think you come into the match against Carolina Ravens, and if you're Subliners, you're saying, let's 3-0 them, beat them down, get the revenge from the major, and really kick this stage off right. Already for map 1, a bit of a falter point there. I think this is one of those series that if you lose it, if you're the New York Subliners, again, that doubt, a nefarious force creeping into the back of your mind really could start to do some damage. So I just want to make sure they execute. Search and destroy. It's been their bread and butter. Invasion, a fantastic map for the players that they have as well. So looking to shut him down, but maybe the one shining light for search and destroy on the side of the Ravens. Felony actually did. He threw up a nice KD. You'll give it to him on the KD front. Why not?
Well, let's see. Does that statistic bleed into this game or not? Already the first flurry of explosions flying everywhere with no trophies available and players flying in as well. I think Skies has been sent. TJ trying to get it, but not able to.
Yeah, you had Hydra trying to go for the cheeky jump up spot, but he missed it a couple times, had to back down, and nice little trade coming through, but of course a few trades coming through. The nades from Felony actually able to take down one player, and then the smoke making sure Hydra can heal up. Him and TJ in a very dicey spot right around this A-bomb site. The play clearly on Hydra in this moment. Can he find the kill? He cannot. TJ Gunham's down. Advantage, Carolina Ravens.
Sip, this could be a huge position here. Clay may check this streak briefly. As soon as that bomb goes down, he hasn't. There'll be a flank. Sees the first. I don't know if he sees Clay. He does. Finds it. Look for the second chow. The slide cancel is not enough, and Kismet nades him as well. That's not what you want. Kismet now to 1 versus 2, and they will play the shoulder game with him for as long as possible.
Oh, not even. There ain't no shoulders to be thrown. Just an easy read on the back alley push. Felony there for the final kill, and that is a tilt-worthy moment to kick off map number 2. If you're not already tilted about the way you lost map number 1 in a nail-biting fashion where you had the rotation of P2, a team nade that really just stamps the round, not a fun thing to have to bounce back from. Subliners have to hit the regain.
Let's see. A lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of sacrifice has been put in the last few weeks with new maps, new patch, new meta, and everything else in between. But who comes out on top? This is our first chance of viewing these teams on the road to Miami. And right now, the Ravens look just a little bit ahead of the Subliners.
Oh, yeah, and Ravens also have a couple players in an interesting position. TJ up, fairly aggressive on the map. Kismet, though, able to find the first blood, but there's the strike from Gwyn. Does get traded out. Got my numbers wrong. It was Gwyn, not TJ, but either way, man advantage for the New York Subliners. Gets evened up very quickly. And plenty of time in this round. Bomb gets planted. 40 seconds right now for Carolina to work.
2 versus 2, but TJ will find Kismet straight away. Hydra. Long flank for him. A mile away. TJ has been seen, but hasn't got anything for him. And they've been on this bomb a while, and that is a defuse. Hydra was not there when he was needed.
Yeah, and I can't read lips, so I don't know exactly what Clayster said, but something effective like that was a little bit too easy. I don't know if that's maybe some knowledge. Clayster obviously teaming with Hydra back in the day, maybe keenly aware of like the play styles, but Clayster, even before TJ got there, insta-hop that bomb, did not care in the slightest, and obviously the play call was perfect. So 2 rounds right there for New York Subliners where they have opportunities, but cannot execute and get it done. Carolina back on the attack, 2-0 up, and just a Hydra to deal with, and Hydra gets dealt with. Gwyn for the first blood.
Well, New York slowly falling apart here, but Kismet will find this back, brings it to a 3 versus 3 again. Gets out of it, repositioning the player's life. And that does mean that the Ravens will have to slow down for just a second, reevaluate where they're going. It still looks like an A commit.
Yeah, you had Felony back all the way up on the map. The other 2 players for Carolina turned their attention. Sib playing with, this is an interesting angle, right? I mean, him and TJ can spot each other at any given moment. Sib gonna slide over to Cafe, and Sib might have just pierced this setup.
But no, looking for it, brings it back, 2 versus 2 again. For New York, they want this round. They desperately need this round. Gwyn just checking every single angle, but they have that bomb covered because TJ hasn't moved from it. That's a huge gun by the Kismet gets it. A trade, but no, Skies is there to help him out this time. And New York, they find the pieces they need.
Yeah, that's a good play from Kismet too. That was just too little information for too long of a time, and I think Gwyn feeling the pressure tried to slide out and go for that chow, but the timing was perfect there for both of those players on the Subliners to converge around the site. And funnily enough, I think this might be a situation where the first bloods have almost just not been a factor for any of these rounds at all. Hydra gets first blooded, but the 3v4 firmly there for New York. Retake is clean, and they're able to get on the board, get a little bit of wiggle room in their favor.
That's what they wanted. Felt a bit better. Interesting play, actually, from the Ravens. TJ didn't really move from the bomb site, just sort of slithered over a little bit while he was laying down. Does give up a bit of map control. But, hey, lesson learned. Let's see what happens on this next one already. You can see the Ravens spread across the map, trying to watch everywhere. Might be Felony who has the key point.
Yeah, I was going to say, and even for key points, Subliners have to go back and get the bomb. So it's going to be about 30 seconds burned off the clock before Subliners make any sort of move. Sib obviously knows there's players down by B, but the action over towards A. Felony, as you pointed out, in the key spot, gets that first blood.
Now New York worried. They don't have the information here. They know Street is off limits to them because of Felony. They have committed towards A. This nade will go towards Tank, trying to flush out whoever's there. Gwyn in a position. Hydra speed versus Gwyn's gunny. This is what this will be if they break this door.
Wait for it. Here we go.
Oh, it's gunny for Gwyn! Every single second, not a bullet missed, not an opportunity wasted. And Sib tries to fly in to be the hero, but gets shut down. And there was speed, but not a lot else.
Dude, and Gwyn delivers again. I don't know how much we touched on it after the map one, but Gwyn was popping off basically the entire time. Again, he's doing it from inside the hill. So we had Kismet making those sort of OBJ plays on one side, Gwyn doing the exact same thing on the other. And that's a 2-piece where he did not really have too much help at all. So Gwyn out here delivering time and time again for Carolina. A big round to sort of kill that momentum and maybe kill even future A pushes. Domination in that moment, but now Carolina go again. A's been the favorite site for them for quite some time. It looks like that's going to be the case once again.
Things just keep going worse for New York. Mental resilience has been tested, and it will continue to be so. We play the waiting game now in Karachi. Ravens are slow rolling it.
And the waiting game is going to be based on Skies. When Skies gets the information from the mid tank that players moved out towards the A site, Hydra's going to poke up from the cars and just shoot the players in the back.
We go nades out as well. A little bit of bullets here. They've been pushed back off that A site. It's not good for the Ravens because they're going to try and rework this a different way. They've got through. Oh my goodness, somehow they're winning this trade. There are players everywhere. Hydra has to back off. Kismet could be a key player as well. He knows where somebody is. Bring this back to a 2 versus 2. Finds him. Takes him down. That's bomb as well, but the trade comes through again. 2 versus 1. Hydra now for the win.
And they know Hydra. The last time they saw him was out towards A. So Hydra flies up the middle of the map, and the COD timing simply does not go his way. Carolina making the speedy moves, the speedy reads. and executing in that round as well. That was the setup that they had. It was Skies on the main tank. If Carolina did the same default thing, work out that freezer door, they're going to lose this round. Carolina read the pressure, though. Felony flies in, and those are the men to take down. Instead of Hydra getting a freebie, the man that's trying to set him up, Skies, just gets caught. You lose the mid-tank pressure, and the setup just gets broken down. So efficient work out of Carolina and Tyler Fellow potentially answering the questions very early about their search and destroy. Nice little 4-1 edge, and they are making plays on the map. Very aggressive on defense. And they've cleared out so much of the map. Clayster's got to know there's pressure on him. So he's going to back all the way down, play it nice and safe, but still have that crossover towards B. Subliners haven't made the move just yet.
Clayster needs to find something here. He will be screaming for reinforcements. The pressure will come in towards him. Flanks going in for the Ravens, but they're going to be on the bomb site. Kismet gets away clean. Clayster trying to thread that one through a building isn't going to work. Will at some point maybe have to worry if Kismet was going to go for a flank. He hasn't. But Clayster was just waiting for those teammates to make a move. Gwyn's already made one as well. Advantage Ravens. Huge advantage Ravens.
And I'm just thinking the utility right now, too. Well, maybe just the gunny felony flying in Challen. Kismet, though, was able to pick up 2, but you have to know that this bomb is going to be down, and the trophy got shot out earlier. Poor Kismet, nowhere to go. And once again, perfection coming out of the Carolina Ravens. Whether it's felony soaring or just the swarm on this site. Even just for the fact that, like, the trophy gets taken care of. Like, the things right now just falling into Carolina's lap.
I love that play there from the Ravens. Clayster was the anvil. The rest of the team was the hammer. Clayster didn't move, didn't give up position, put bullets in, was a constant threat they couldn't ignore. The rest of the Ravens went round, some through dark, some through the back of the street, and found the kills they needed. 5-1 now to Carolina.
Yeah, now you just need the bomb, you know? It's really important in search and destroy. I don't know why teams keep leaving that in the dust, so TJ's got to collect it. By the way, on the map, hyper-aggression right now from the New York Subliners. Sid, though, does get raped and first-blooded, and now you get a little bit of intel on where the pressure is going to be coming through, but still players like Kismet behind enemy lines, the opportunity to make a play, but obviously he's forced to right now, man disadvantage. Someone's got to find the big 2.
Yeah, and I think Christmas just came in, and that was Felony that called it. And that's given up complete control. This is a retake for New York with numbers against them. Kismet has to check the angles and win a gunfight. They've let him get through a little bit here. Felony might catch him as he goes to tank, but he hasn't. Kismet slipping the net. No, Gwyn's just going to get gunned. Wasn't Gwyn, it was Clayster who found him, and now both directions they have to go. TJ cleans up. And it is decimation. The Carolina Royal Ravens, 12th ranked in S&D before this, just took down the #1 ranked team. Statistics be damned. Woo!
I mean, there you go, bro. Yeah, I was waiting for like more of a follow-up. That really was just a damning performance. I mean, the team that was number 12, again, it was a symptom, not a cause. It was just a weird team environment, not opportunities to get good S&D practice in. Now they've had the opportunity to take a little bit more time as a full team to get the practice in, and they went against one of the very best, and they made it look just easy. I mean, maybe 2 rounds early on for Subliners that they could have like built a nice little lead. I know that first round, really unfortunate team nade coming in from Kismet sort of seals the deal for Carolina. So a little bit of luck on the side of the Ravens, but at the same time, 1-6 out of both Civ and Skies, 2-6 out of Hydra. Nobody really having success in the shooting back category there for New York Subliners. And after a painful map #1 performance, Bryce, staring down the barrel of a hot 3-0 for a team that is in the bottom 4 in the league. Carolina looking for some extra CDL points and kicking off their stage 2 right.
Yeah, they really are. And actually, I want to go back and look at those statistics again. I think Clayster had about the same amount of damage as Felony, who was 9-2 at 3-3. So kind of tells you what Clay's doing. He's putting a lot of damage down. He's being a very difficult player for other teams to deal with, even if it doesn't reflect in the kills. And that's something we talk about with statistics. It can be different. But speaking of different, at the moment, it is the same old story. The Carolina Royal Ravens are hurting the New York Subliners. They knocked them out of Boston, and they are knocking them back on the road to Miami. Is there a reverse sweep? Is there hope for Subliners, or are the Ravens just better? But we'll find out when we go to control after the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the Call of Duty League.
Check out all the awesome in-game rewards you can earn for free just by watching the Call of Duty League. What's on tap this weekend? An all-new lineup including a weapon blueprint, emblem, calling card stickers, and XP tokens. Just link your YouTube account now to start earning.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL. Start the season strong with the Call of Duty League pack. Grab yourself the CDL operator, weapon blueprint, and so much more. Check out the Call of Duty store in-game now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. We have witnessed the Carolina Royal Ravens go to work against New York, and most recently on S&D. A couple of huge kills here for them. Gwyn flying out with backup from Clayster and getting it, and this is a break here from Felony. This completely decimated everything the Subliners had.
No, absolutely. And you point out Clayster as well. He was involved in both of those first clips. This one, though, TJ, I mean, just these reads and gunning for that third two-piece. But I know you talked about how, like, Tyler Fellows specifically, his stat line was incredible. Dude's making plays all over the map. But if you're paying attention to mid-map, yes, the teamwork and the comms absolutely there. The team shots from Clayster and even the pre-fire on the player coming through that dark alley by the tank for Felony, just getting called out the entire time. So Carolina, absolutely heads-up performance there in map number 2. Might have been a slow start in map number 1. Obviously, they make up for it. So all of the momentum right now on their side. Of course, if you're thinking about momentum, Hydra is absolutely a player that can take it from you at any moment. And if we're going to a high-rise, I mean, I think one of the themes we have on this map, especially for the New York Subliners, they can play for kills just a little bit too much. Like, Sid broke the record for damage on this map, and he absolutely destroyed the kill feed the entire time, and it was for a loss. So I think New York Subliners certainly have, gone to the drawing boards for high-rise control, be a little bit more objective-minded, because overall, respectable on the round win percentage, but they're not executing and actually getting these wins. And again, a couple of those nail-biter round 5s have really punished New York.
They certainly have. The statistics do not tell the whole story, of course. You've got to bear in mind the Ravens won this last time, and I think for me, what I've been seeing from the two of them, the Ravens look like they are having a great time with teamwork. For New York, it's individual performances, and maybe they just need a little bit of polish, and if that clicks in, it could be a very different team. There's a lot of talent on New York. This could just be resettling. You've got to remember, you've gone from a devastating loss in Boston. The game has changed. The maps have changed. The spawns have changed. The meta has changed. There is a lot to get done in that short amount of time, especially when they're trying to rework. So I'm still going to give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt. But for the Ravens, it's all upside. We're talking about positives. They look great.
Absolutely. And again, like, they're sort of getting the ball rolling on like the S&D front. That's massive for this team, where they were 12th in the league, now getting dominant wins like that. The amount of confidence that is going to provide you as a core unit, it is going to go such a long way. But being up 2-0 is one thing. You still have to make sure you execute and take care of business, because obviously lethal threats on the other side. But as the map gets delayed a bit, maybe just an opportunity for Carolina to talk some things over, for Clayster to feel his nose, and we're going to keep TJ, who truly do look like a duo together, I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting one. Obviously, TJ coming in kind of last minute for it as well, but you got to give credit. TJ performed. When you get that kind of opportunity, you get back in the league, and then you put the numbers up. And let's be honest, looked like the best player at points, kind of fighting for it with Gwyn on this roster, and the Ravens made the right call and brought him in full time.
And this is something that Clayster has actually touched on. I can't remember, podcast, on stream, whatever it was, but he sort of talked about the, not complete night and day versions of TJ that he has gotten, but Clayster's teamed with him in the past and maybe not had the most positive experiences. This year, from what Clay has said, he's been loving teaming with Tej. He's just been incredible so far throughout this year. And as you pointed out, yes, has absolutely looked like the best player on the teams at times. So Clayster certainly enjoying the new vibe with the team he's playing with, the slightly new version of TJ as well. And obviously, again, going against some world champions up 2-0, you have to be feeling good, because they are shooting back.
They certainly are. And good vibes in Carolina Royal Ravens. They will want to put this one down right here. Easy points for them, get themselves up the standing. You got to remember that while we are still a little way away from getting to Miami, every single game is crucial. You want to find yourself in the winner's bracket, you want to have a good time, and in the bigger picture, all the way to champs. You don't want to be fighting desperately for 10 points at the end of the season when you could have had that 10 points easier at the beginning.
And I mean, these are like two of the best teams to pay attention to for the points as well, because you had Carolina that actually had like a halfway decent major performance, all things considered. They get the extra 15 points, but because the online performances was that poor, Carolina's still right now in the bottom 4. And on the flip side, what is sort of funny is like Minnesota Rocker, I think, you know, throughout stage 1, their online performance is not super great, but they did just enough to get the winner's bracket, which, as you pointed out, is a massive opportunity. Minnesota Rocker get that one first big win against the Subliners, move up to like, you know, the top like 4 automatic thing, and they just get so many CDL points, and they really only had to win like 1 or 2 matches to make it happen at the major. So yes, getting the winner's bracket really is that massive opportunity. Getting the points in the online stages goes such a long way. Carolina, one more map to collect their next 10, and on control, nice little 2-2 split off the rip. Look for those opening salvo of kills.
Instantly runs into a player waiting for him, and it's Sib, and Sib looking for a second, not going to get it this time. Opportunity, B coming through. Sky's going to be here waiting for the player as well, and he is going to end up getting it. Placer's now trying to stay alive. He knows eventually he should fall, but no. Teammates flying in for the action here. The Ravens should get this first tick as the kills keep flying their way.
Oh yeah, look at the 2Bs from Gwen down low as well. Helps Clayster with the guy trying to jump up and then just fries the next one in line. So nice little repositioning, but only one player on the B zone for the moment, so it's going to be a slow capture. Kismet finds the opening as well. Things do get mixy as Carolina still just hurting them in the kill feed. 2 ticks of progression out through. Gwyn still alive behind you and gets out at least great damage. You see Hydra does get traded. Ooh. That B zone still not yet captured. It is that slow approach, but a 24-17 life advantage. Carolina feeling great.
There we go. This is all they need to do, and that's an ambitious chow from Gwyn. They just need to beat them in wind here. They don't have position. Be careful. Play these lives. You have the opportunity, a good break, and get that time stopped. So much time on the clock for them as well, but New York starting to clear the lines and starting to get some kills down.
Yeah, some good comms, good awareness as well from New York. Civ actually checking that little scaffolding jump up spot, so no cheeky plays coming in from TJ. You're just right now, if you're New York, trying to fight for map control. They've yet to really be able to push up and get those power positions, get to top heli, get to top propane. They're just getting punished back in their spawn. Finally, 2 kills go their way. Skies, if you can stay alive, this would be your opportunity to start to push for a little bit of map control. With Felony doing a perfect job of backing him down. Clayster there for the follow-up, and now you get a full hit out towards this A zone.
Better be careful. Gwyn has got Rogue. He's gone all the way around the back here as well. They're winning in the front of the Ravens. Gwyn's going to be behind as well.
God,
for the kills, and there's the flank. And that might be it. They're going to pile bodies onto this. That's 3 in already. Trophy's going to be working overtime for it. It's New York. Fly out of the window as a squad, but it is a rocket that is ticking up here. Eventually the contest comes in. Is this enough from New York? No, it is not. The Ravens run rampant.
I mean, yeah, they're feeling good now. That is somewhat of a devastating round 1 as well. New York maybe had the one opportunity to like start to fight back and get some semblance of control. Felony and Clayster just slammed the door in their face, and then Gwyn was like the ever-present problem for New York in that round. Right from the jump, he starts going on tears, annoying you, getting in your spawn, shooting you in the back. Well, that's more or less how we finished the round as well. So that's incredibly efficient work. That is superb stuff off the opening breaks from Carolina, and mistake-free, they never look back. That's some good, clean Call of Duty.
Really was. New York, though, get their opportunity to attack already. First blood to them, looking to make a move for it. Gwyn, dead silence popped. Gonna try and make a difference here, but just a little bit of timing, but still going for this chow. Flies in, doesn't find them, but does somehow get that. It must have been weak. But New York, light at the end of the tunnel. They are on to the B point.
Yeah, and you see that was a good trigger discipline coming in from Gwyn, but he ends up dying on the 5 spree. Didn't get quite enough help, so no cruise missile there. And again, cruise missiles are a massive theme on this new patch. If you get a cruise missile on this map, you almost guarantee a defense. Like, you could just single-handedly stop a push on either zone. So No spiciness there, and now you get New York back in their sort of sweet spot. Sid picking up a good deal of kills. Hydra in your base trying to be annoying. Bring around the Rosie with Clay, eventually able to take him down. And that B zone secured. 2 minutes right now from New York to play with, and they have a ton of lives as well.
Yeah, they've been having a much better time here on this. And now looking to put the hurt back onto the Ravens. They've got to do the same thing that was just done to them. Wait, play the time, get the opportunity you need. Kismet going to go around for the flank here. They've lost in the kill feed. He could have done with his teammates staying alive. I think he may have been spotted there. He has been. Felony has got him, and that is a clear line for the Ravens.
Yeah, neither team really able to do those cheeky scaffolding plays just yet. Gwyn was the furthest player pushed up from Carolina. He gets taken care of. It's still power positions, though, insecure the Ravens, but Sid there with a little bit of help from his teammate. Takes TJ down from top helicopter. You deal with the next man in your spawn. So the map has been spread by Subliners. They keep everything under control. No more flanks coming through. All gunnies forward.
Gonna fly now. Sib just staying alive, getting that clock stopped. That first tick might come in. Needs to make this gunfight, and he does. Sib, huge kills on the map. Eventually will fall to Gwyn. New York just trying to keep a little bit of map control. The trades are good for them at this point.
Still with that pressure on the zone. I mean, right now it's going to be a player by himself, but that is his opportunity for Kismet to be behind enemy lines. So the slower this goes for New York right now, the better. Not the best start, though. A couple players on Carolina find the kills, so the flank is forced to be fast, and then everything falls apart. Subliners couldn't quite orchestrate it together. Carolina there to pierce the setup, and Gwyn again, the man that is always leading the charge.
Well, only 5 lives remain for the Ravens. A full minute on the clock, though, for New York. They can hold power positions. They can bleed them slowly over this next 60 seconds. But they've still got to do it. Sid will find Clayster. No respawns for Carolina.
And of course, with the players on the time right there, that is worst case scenario for the clock to be stopped. Down to 3 lives. This is going to be unwinnable, and TJ gets caught as well. Felony just falling off the map. So there you go. Nice little bounce back round from New York Subliners. They do it off the lives. They don't even need the objective. The slang was absolutely enough for them, so the pace that they were able to play at delivers towards the end. Back-to-back attacking rounds. Not too shabby.
Now, you've got to give credit to New York as well. That was a very confident attacking round. Really fought back, and it looked pretty much in their control the entire time. They went for the trades. They just kept making the right plays and didn't overcommit and get wiped, which is what they were most afraid of, playing around that mid-map control. Can they do something better on the defense here, or will the Ravens run against them?
Once again for the Ravens, not a pure 2-2 split. It looks like Clayster are going to have a little bit of help maybe towards the middle of the map or spot up the players that they go top propane. But there's a lot of B Street pressure coming through from New York Subliners, and they're getting all the kills as well. So Gwyn has been sort of running underground. He's making his presence known once again, but doesn't have a ton of support. And Sid with a nice gunny able to take him down as well. This might be the defensive spawn trap. This is the best case scenario right now for New York.
Clayster wants to find a pick. He wants to give his team an opportunity to get out of here and get a little bit mixy. Looking for Hydra. Hydra's going to stay alive. No, he's not. Clayster picks him off. Unfortunately, he needs his teammates to back him up, and Sid is destroying them. Clayster finds a second one. He is throwing this door open for the Ravens to get out and get map control back.
Well, still, that's like players on the left and mid. It's still helicopter that's going to be a problem. So Carolina still a lot of work they're going to have to do to try to find this break, and the kills continue to not go their way. Subliners, if you get the setup on defense, you should never let it go, and they are handling it just about perfectly. TJ might have slipped the net and get behind enemy lines, but he's going to be forced to wrap back to make a play. That's 2 kills now in the feed for Carolina, and they're on the A zone. That's the good news. Bad news is 16 seconds left on this game clock. You have to keep someone on the objective.
Clayster going for a long shot. There's going to be somebody close. Looks for the gunfight. Not going to win it. Sid finds a massive 2 as they just fall over and over again. Gwyn now has to commit to the point, but he is going to be outnumbered. They will come from many directions to gun him down. And Hydra, oh my goodness, that's a horrible gunfight at the best of times. But with time ticking, surely the Ravens cannot find anything here.
Desperation and a nice little crack in the barrels for Felony to get tagged up. Very one shot, easy to trade. And now you're just going to have to flood out through blue. Easy reads for New York. And they're going to get this done on a very dominant round of defense. That was not a single tick of progression on either zone. And Carolina might have created some opportunities, but it took them way too long to be able to set it up. And I think Sid was really that player to close the door. The 2-piece he had on the B zone really seals the deal. If we're talking about momentum, well, Subliners, they certainly have it now.
Yeah, that was a complete change of momentum. New York locked in. For the Ravens, it's their turn to try and get it back. See if they can send this to a round 5. Can they do it, though? Here it goes. Attack here for New York. A little bit of a commit straight to the A point. Oh, no, they're going underground. The pair of them are going to run straight into Gwyn. That is a huge gunfight already.
Oh, this is easy reads on the opening break, too. I think Sky's posted in the back of the mat. Never mind. Actually gets gunned in the feed, so TJ's out here making plays. You see, really putting the pressure on and forcing Hydra to get off the zone, and TJ will do it one way or another. Gets that kill, so nice play from Teej to sort of kill that opening break there from the Subliners. And talk about the defensive setup. Well, that gets broken down immediately. Carolina get caught just being a little too aggressive, and they just have to regroup, reposition, and stabilize. Looks like the MCWs for Carolina going to do exactly that, and now they've officially got the spawn trap set up. Nobody from New York outside of their base.
Oh yeah, this Kismet just going through a barrage of explosions and tacticals. Gets up towards Propane, looking for them out the window, finds one, guns a second as well. The Bulldog going to work to make sure his team can get out of this. They haven't got a ticket. Clayster playing slow, finds the first, knows that he's going to be dropped on. Waits, patient, knows where Kismet is as well, was still playing his life. And that is perfect play in the end, absolute patience, and it ends with a terrible nade.
Nearly perfect play towards the end. Gwyn, by the way, that is not an easy chunk to hit. Absolutely nails it. That is a massive sort of beneficial thing to have on this map. More players flooding through B Street. 10 seconds left on the clock. I think Kismet is going to have to make the play, stay alive on this zone, but he can't even make it. TJ killing him off the cross. And 2 seconds left. Desperation hours and so much progression that needs to take place. My God, I think we're going to be going to a round 5 unless Hydra can do beyond something absurd, but he gets taken care of. And funnily enough, there is no ticks of progression there for the side of New York on offense either. So as bad of a round as Carolina had on offense round before, they respond exactly how they need to. And I think just because, New York Subliners won round number 2 off lives, not the objective. So I believe Carolina should have defense for the round 5. Obviously, this is a much more balanced map than some others we have in the repertoire. You can absolutely win on offense, but as far as round 5s go, yes, you prefer to have defense.
Well, let's see. The stage has been set. Do the Ravens put the Subliners in the dirt, or does the dream become real and a potential reverse sweep? Anything could happen. Let's find out how it does. All right, now straight on the defense, right with the Carolina Royal Ravens. New York going through it as well. Explosions banging across the map as the kills start to come in.
Oh, that's a big 2 from Clay as well. Making sure you lock down the A side. You had a nice little setup coming through, trying to make the play. Often like Teej as well. Skies playing for that DB Street push, but DJ here, still a ever-present threat. Him and Gwyn looking together. And that's got to be a couple trades potentially coming through. TJ actually gets dropped. It's the pistols putting in the work right now for Subliners over towards the B zone. And you can spawn trap on the offensive side too. Carolina have to get out of their base. Felony's going to be trying to make that happen, but the B zone potentially going to fall. Progression going nice and quick.
Apparently found one. Gwyn tries to make that jump, doesn't get it this time. Hydra just going to get this cap and they're not going to stop him. It's all positioning now for the Ravens. They want these kills. They want to push them back into the spawn. Desperate here for the Subliners to stay alive. Play their lives, play position. And Sky's the last one out. Just running away, and that is a huge kill. That means this map is wide open. A is now going towards them.
And he's just going to be looking for the spawners. He's got the trophy out. You're just looking for that maybe 2 or 3 man wipe. Kismet trying to get in position as well, but Kismet's going to fall. Skies and Hydra now working together, but from opposite sides of the map, they are still just desperate to try to find these errant kills. I mean, you got TJ and Gwyn pushed up on the map, actually getting the kills, so you have a spawn trap taking place on both sides of the map. Sky's just desperate for his teammates to send more people to the gulag to get him off the respawn so we can deal with them, and he is putting in the work to make it happen. You just got to get this man some help.
He is a one-man army. and he has opened it for them. They are out. Subliners are onto the A point. Skies still alive. A 5 streak waiting for Felony. Not able to get it that time. Gets back onto the point. Now with bodies here, they have an opportunity. They can win this in the trades. Hydra finds one. Gwyn's going to get onto Sib. Bodies flying at it as well.
There we go.
New York who are winning this battle. Skies again falls to TJ, but Kismet in the back. And that second tick is coming through. Ravens off the respawn. And surely there's no way back for them here.
I mean, they're playing for the kills right now. They're playing for the kills. They're not stacking the point, and the kills don't go their way. Carolina back them down for the moment, but it is still a mix fest. Only 7 lives remaining. Subliners can win this one of 2 ways, and frankly, they have the pressure. They have the numbers. You can overwhelm them. Less Felony. Pop-off play potential. The nade again coming through. 2 men left on the site right now for Subliners, and no lives remaining. It's going to be a nail biter. 8 versus 4 and a minute to play. Carolina have to be perfect.
The Ravens must not get fluttered. Already lost one. Hydra is hitting the flank. He might be found. They're going to call this one out as well. They know it. Clayster and Good have got it. 3 versus 6. The Ravens still have to hold. They still cannot falter for the next 40 seconds.
Everybody from New York, though, just getting in position. Power position for top propane. Get that information. Kismet, maybe just with the gunny. Gonna get it done. And Subliners, in the end, execute. Take care of business on high-rise control. And as is typical for this team, they do it on the slang.
Unbelievable, and I think you have to give credit to Skies. Stayed alive for an obscene amount of time. Caused nothing but problems for the Ravens. He opened the path to A, and eventually they were able to join him. But a small breath of life breathed into the New York Subliners here on this map.
You are exactly correct. Yeah, Sky's making the pop-off plays. I mean, Sid consistent with the damage numbers as well on this map. That is always going to be his playground. So the stats always look nice and pretty, but I'd say for Skies, that's like one of those blackout moments to where your teammates are calming things, but they're calling out TJ and Gwyn, like Gwyn's underground, TJ's by green tarps. Like, he's not picking up any useful information. Skies is literally just on an island, just desperate, A, to stay alive, and B, waiting for his team to start getting the kills so more people actually get sent to the spawn so he can have something to do. So that's a moment where you are just an individual that needs your team to execute, and you have to make the big plays yourself as well. So dicey moments, not easy to string together, but Skies handles it perfectly towards the end of that final round. And again, even with all of that action, still barely winning towards the end.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. The original kind of shout out Skies there. You got to remember what happened to the last 2 attacking rounds. The door was locked by both teams, putting them on the back burner, but eventually, just as Slaying went against the Ravens, you thought maybe if they had a couple more lives, they could have played it a bit differently, may have walked away with the win, but just not to be. A real back and forth on this map, both attack and defense, superb from both sides. But it does mean we get a map number 4, a hard point where it could be settled, or we could have a map 5.
I tell you, some of the shots that we're seeing, like in these highlights, I don't know if you saw the one Sid had, like sliding to the mid box and gunning somebody like through the mid windows, but like behind cover. So again, Sid, he has one job and one job only, but he is fantastic at it. Slaying and damage numbers always going to be a threat. These scaffolding hits, I don't think worked out a single time for either team on the map, which personally I love to see because I hate when it happens to me in ranked play. But the pro teams right now, again, very heads-up gameplay. That was great Call of Duty, I'd say, from both sides of the imaginary stage that we're playing on right now. And all the forces to map 4. Again, Subliners, we keep saying it. We believe in this team to sort of bounce back from the stage 1 that they had. In the same vein, have the same expectations in any given series. Being down 2-0, you still expect Subliners to be a threat, and they've at least pushed it to that map 4.
Well, let's see. This next hard point, it could dictate how the narratives on these 2 teams go. The Ravens a win here again. A repeat of the Major, but, you know, highlight from the S&D. We could be looking at a bit of a different force on the road to Miami. For New York, if they can win this, take it to map 5 and get back, they can quash some of that hate that has been flowing their way in recent times. They can shut up the haters, maybe not permanently, but at least a brief respite.
I mean, I would say, like, you know, the way you lost map 1 and especially the way you lost map 2, the New York subliner, like the haters of this team, they have some ammunition. Like, even if subliners make the comeback, you get a little bit of ammo. But I gotta say, I'm excited to watch this Invasion hardpoint. It's gonna be the first look we have in the CDL of these guys playing on the new patch. At the Major, it is the old one, it is the old spawns, it is the old hills. We no longer have to deal with the Palace Hill at all. So that Money Hill is completely out of the question. But the brand new P4, I cannot wait to see how these teams play it, because I know, like, my own personal raked experience, it's like you're getting parallel spawns, getting shot in the back Palace. You spawn Palace with people almost constantly. So P4 is a little bit insane. It's also a hill where there's like 2 spots in a massive hill where you can actually effectively play and stay alive. But I just want to see how well coordinated these guys are on it, see if I can learn something, because I know I need the help.
Yeah, I'm going to be taking some tips from this as well, certainly, as we move forward. But you are right. This is one of those things that only a few weeks practice, you're going to know the map. But sometimes those little micro decisions in the moment, the hesitations that can cost you points, lives, kills, and eventually wins, that'll be the difference between them. For the Ravens, no smiles at the moment. A full focus, ready to get into this next game. They have an opportunity to get those points on the board. I think at the moment they've only got 25, I believe.
Correct, yes.
So this will be huge for them if they can get it.
And again, just to get the ball rolling, give you somewhat of an advantage. If I remember correctly, I don't have it in front of me, but I think Carolina, based on the Major 1 standings, actually have a fantastic strength of schedule. Like, not nearly as difficult of what they had throughout Major 1. So, especially if you take down sort of one of the, I mean, theorized top dogs. I guess New York Subliners did get top 12, but still, to get a win like this, you're going to feel fantastic moving forward. Stage 2, this is really sort of the sweet spot for Carolina, but just to take a look at the last time they played, the Invasion S&D went the exact same. The first hard point, whether it be a sub-basic or rock sheet, nail-biter, but Carolina got the dub, and we don't have to deal with terminal hard point anymore, but still the series potentially going to get reflected in the exact same way. And obviously, if it does get reflected the same way, that just means we saw Carolina put some work in the downtime, because their S&D looks even better. That would just be more questions for subliners to answer on the flip side if you see the exact same result.
Yeah, and that's probably the worst thing here as well. New York want to prove themselves after that kind of bad Major, I think is the easiest way to put it. Something of a shock. Yeah, and I think the biggest shock of the Major as well. So coming forward again, having to play the same team, you would say that realistically the way they wanted to come into this was to absolutely destroy them and go, all right, you know what, we can put that aside. That hasn't happened. If anything, Carolina looked better than they did back in the Major. Yes. So a few questions for them moving forward as we look to see how this one ends. But it's still all up in the air. I hate judging teams. Bearing in mind, it's the first day back on a new patch. It's difficult with the sample size that we have to say, hey, this team is much better, this team is much worse.
I don't know. I mean, like, I agreed. There's always the minimal amount of sample size, especially with like the changes coming through. But the game is mostly the same, at least for Search and Destroy in Control. So that's why I think it's actually easy to say that, yes, we've seen improvements from Carolina. Their Search and Destroy, I mean, I know they won on Invasion the last go around, but it looked super clean from what we saw. But that was the old Invasion. Now we're working with the new for the hard point. But Bryce, from what I understand, there is a bit of a tech delay.
There might be a small tech delay, so we're going to go to a break so you don't have to look at my face anymore. But we will be back after this with some beautiful hardpoint. New York Subliners versus the Carolina Royal Ravens. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. We have rested, we have returned, and we are ready for this game. Hardpoint is upon us. Ravens versus Subliners. At the moment, the Ravens hold the cards. They are 2-1 up chance.
Yeah, and you know the game is loading in because you don't see the reflection of Sid just shooting like the firing range sort of bots. Because that man, even in the downtime, he is always going to be shooting his gun. And he's going to do it at an insane pace. So yes, the invasion hardpoint upon us. The brief look at the new spawns we get to see. And again, just how these teams want to orchestrate and see those new looks. I know P4 is going to be the focus point, at least for me, of like sort of the Palace Hill being insane, getting replaced with a P4 that is almost equally insane, but in a very different way. I know there is just a ton of like top Palace to the mid-tank gunfights where you have to be dialed in to shoot absolute laser beams. So maybe a team like New York might enjoy the new look on this map. Maybe just more impressive kills for Civ to collect.
Wow. Let's see. I'm very much looking forward to this one. Like I said, the narrative between these teams, it could all hinge on a hard point. For me, I think the positives to take away for this one, mostly on the Ravens side, does look like very good teamwork at points, and that's what I kind of want to highlight for them. We've seen it time and again. I think we highlighted Clayster in the S&D charts. We talked about his damage compared to Felony's. 9-2 for Felony, 3-3 for Clayster. And yet the damage, I think, was 10 points apart. So plenty of bullets in bodies for Clayster. And like I said, if you don't get the kill, it doesn't matter for a lot of people, but it still wins you maps and it wins you rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Carolina, very well orchestrated in the search and destroy. Again, I think we've already learned that, I mean, not necessarily, we don't know where they're going to fall within the league, but we know that, like, even if they're 12, they're not going to be as bad as they were. Like, they have clearly stepped it up. The question is, how high can they go? Of course, on the map number 1 hardpoint, DJ, as you pointed out earlier, Bryce has certainly spent time on this team as being the best player on it. Nice performance on the map 1 sub base as well. Certainly a player to pay attention to on the flip side because he's going to be rocking that extra MCW. It's not going to be uncommon at all for 3 or maybe 4 MCWs to be in the hands of every player on the team on this map. Finally, after the delay, we get the ball rolling. See if any sort of action can happen off the opening break. This is a difficult P1 to stay alive in.
Looking for him as well, teacher. He gets 2, but it's a technical. And now he's going to try and get through this one as well. Almost stuck Skies at the same time, but now going to try and push forward. A horrible point to get.
Again, difficult to stay alive in. I mean, that took 25 seconds for New York to really get inside of it all. But once you get it, you can absolutely, there's like 2 spots you can play. And of course, if you have teams thinking about the rotation, not going to be as much pressure on towards the hill. Nice shots coming in from Felony. Looks like you get the wipe on the P1 time to Carolina collect, but of course the exchange is you do not have that rotation at all over towards P2. New York Subliners get a perfect setup. 2 players by broken, 1 guy on time, 1 man for the back. This is exactly how New York want to have it happen.
Still a few seconds to try and get this one done, but Hydra is gunning. And it's never a good time for the enemy team when this man is putting shots down. You can see everything in the street is laid down. A bit of a pinch, a bit of a split. But will they withstand the pressure? New York can win this with just a couple of trades, and they've already got some.
Oh, Felony though out of nowhere for 2. You see Clayster actually in the back doing a nice job to stay alive. You in New York that like intentionally left the palace spawns open because they were hoping to win the broken side gunfights and flip the map for the rotation, but instead Felony out of nowhere rips 2, and because Clayster stays alive, everything New York Subliners were just trying to do, it gets done to them. And now I look at the minimap and somehow Kismet is behind everybody, so I don't know if he spawned there or what the hell just happened, but that is certainly an opportunity for New York to make up for the bad thing that just happened. Again, it's a new map, it's new spawns, it's a little bit chaotic. Advantage, it doesn't matter. The spawn will just take it away in New York. They'll get that rotation to showers.
Yeah, that could happen. But hey, sometimes you're going to adapt, improvise, and overcome, and that's what they're going to try and do now. You can see New York have thrown up the defenses. Clayster now moving forward a bit, and Hydra will gun him out of his shoes. It is a struggle here for Carolina to get any sort of map control.
I'll tell you, Kismet just spawned. Like, he might have taken a route. I just missed it on the minimap, but it looked like he just spawned there, and that is the reason right now that subliners have this setup. So either Kismet is making monster plays or Kismet had a monster spawn, but either way, you go towards this shower hill. This is an absolute money hill with the new spawns coming through. You see how distant at Palace Carolina is going to be. That means you get one good attempt and maybe a second sort of iffy one to make progress over towards showers. They cannot. They get punished basically full 60 coming through, and it's going to be our first look at the brand new P4. The kills going to get traded in the exchanges rolling through at the start. We see right now the idea from Carolina: get players stacked up in P1, try to be aggressive, try to be annoying, and play from there.
This is one of those hills that feels like we've broken from anywhere. Keep an eye on that spawn though. Hydra's.
Yep, every time.
And that is a horrible time for them. Nobody from Ravens has realized it yet, but they will as soon as these bullets start to bang and Quinn's going to fall and everybody goes down. The problem with this map now and this hard point is you can be broken very, very quickly.
And that's like another thing too. Hydra spawned up in Palace, but there was someone from Carolina that was standing in Palace at the same time. And number 8's going to do the exact same thing. So that's where like the spawn management just becomes insanity for this hill. When Carolina players are spawning on a hill that you'd expect to be blocked, they're spawning next to each other right now, Bryce. It's like consistent, so it's technically readable, but it's insane if you want to actually try to get the time. Both teams right now struggling with it. Maybe technically a good hill for Carolina, but like everybody's fighting at like 10% of the map. And then of course on rotation, Carolina finally don't spawn in Palace. They actually do spawn over towards New. Doesn't mean they're winning gunfights though. Hydra is still behind enemy lines. Felony in between 3. He's gonna get traded as the quest to kill Hydra continues.
Well, Hydra is still staying alive, and as I say, if you like gunfights, perfect hill for you, but they're going to keep going, trying to get into this new hill point. There's only a few places you can hide for it as well. Kismet is ready, but all of his teammates have disappeared. He still finds a gunfight, though. Wins it 6 and 11, but gunning like he hasn't been killed yet. Another player, another kill for Kismet, still staying alive. This is a problem for the Ravens as his teammates start to flow in behind him.
I mean, they just can't find him. Literally, you have TJ running in circles around blue, just looking for Kismet. Finally, you're able to spot out where he ran to. The question is, can you actually get some time? I mean, that's 2 in the feed for Carolina, but they don't actually have the pressure on the zone just yet. Maybe gonna collect these final 12 seconds. And maybe more spawns to try to read that gas spawn's coming through from New York subliners. It means long-term right now on top of P1. You'd rather be Carolina spawning on the left side of the map, but I mean, it's what, a 20-point game between these two teams, almost expecting it to come down to the wire again.
Yeah, and this is looking that way again. The Ravens in control at the moment. Kismet, though, going to make a move. Finds one already. Going to go for it. Gwyn goes for the chow, but Kismet just completely annihilates him, and Ravens had this hill for only a few seconds. The real question will be now is about this rotation. There is a split spawn come in. TJ is in the back line.
Yeah, that's a spawn that really could come through. The problem is, though, TJ, if he's a little bit too slow, is going to be potentially blocking the spawns and dragging him for his team. So you have Carolina losing every important gunfight in that moment. So the one guy that spawns out, instead of a pinch, it turns into a dagger. And now New York subliners maybe driving that nail home. That is a 5 spree from Skies, gets to play for the kill. You get the rotation as well. This is officially New York subliners' game to lose. They have every single tool, every single spawn that they're going to need. The game is firmly in their control.
Well, with the subliners starting to switch gears and get this game underway, let's find out how they are feeling in the comms. The New York subliners listen in.
Let me get tractor.
You can get
low tin. Spawn out.
Broken.
Yeah, I'm holding tractor. Okay, DVD pillars and broken. I'm staying down.
On the right.
I'm one shot.
Yeah, stay down. Where's the tank? I'm on the tank with the nade.
Square on me, Teach. Square Teach, I'm laying down.
I'm gonna go make up.
I'm attack them. I'm going mid with you, Dante. Alright, he's dead. Square, I'm one shot.
Left tank going square. Left tank going square. I kill him.
Where you want on the tank right now? Square and tank. Right tank. All pallets.
One shot, Palace, 2 of them.
They're both there. They're T-kill. Wait, Palace, stun.
Come near.
I will get near.
Come with it. I've all him.
I'm near your Palace. I'm leaving. Yeah, I got you. They're all over me. 2 more. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to block off one skill, okay? You can play fire truck and back up, Dante, okay? Play fire truck and back up. Get ready to block. On the half, win mid. We're good. We're dead first. Back up, Paco. I'm gonna shoot for time. Actually, I'm blocking. Yeah, I'm backing up. Winston, spawning out.
One guy's courtyard team.
A and D. And Fellow's beat up.
Time on me. Beat him. He's going from DVD. Tom, weak. Nice.
Cross side. Watch your mannequin from time. I have my mannequin. Mannequin on the fire, homie, dead. I have mannequin dead.
Can they flank the back?
I'm gonna shake your time. Yeah, one's deep river. Shaking for time. Dead. Deep river. One's river, one's ASND, one's court.
And there you hear the intensity out of the comms from New York Subliners. Again, these guys got control of the game and never looked back. The scoreline is absurd, and that is one of the most educational listen-ins we have had so far this year. The conversation between Skies and Hydra in that moment, talking about blocking spawns. As soon as the new hill pops, the spawn locations are going to change on the map, and that's why Skies is calling out, I'm going to run to back gas just to block it, because if they leave it open, you've already seen the game's willingness. They will absolutely spawn the other team directly behind you, so you have to block those actual spawns to make sure the funny business doesn't happen. New York Subliners handle it perfectly, and they're blowing Carolina out.
They really are. The rotations haven't even been close. The Ravens are just running into the teeth of Subliners over and over again. And now they're here at P4, but is it really going to matter? 214 to 91. The biggest question for me is, will this be a 100-point club?
I mean, it is certainly shaping up to be. I mean, this is a hill right now that, again, it can be difficult to stay alive in, but there's a few spots that when you get them, you're actually absurdly difficult to kill. So you see Hydra was near the motorcycle. He stands up, so he's going to get evaporated. Maybe that's going to answer the 100-point club question. Carolina able to get past that mark, but still, if they want to get back in this game, it is more than a long way to go.
Kismet been playing lights out since the beginning of this one, and they have control again. The Ravens not in the position to take anything down. Kismet guns Gwyn. Placed trying to do all he can as well, but with time ticking away, the palace spawn is there, and Sib is using it as a shooting gallery. They are spawning a mile away, and you have to run through the gauntlet. There are cover points everywhere. There are challenges you have to make. There are corners, but in the end, it is only issues for you moving towards this hill.
Yeah, no, there is simply nothing you can do. It is just going to be a flood through the front, just into the pre-aims of everybody on New York. Felony might be able to pick up the first, but it's Hydra on the crosses. It's two players posted up inside of the hill, and 5 seconds to go for New York to send this to a game number 5. Just need that final stamp. TJ, the final player to fall, and Subliners are going to get it done in emphatic fashion.
And that was one-sided. The Ravens were flying high, but have been brought low. Skies, big smile for good reason. I think it was 28 and 12 or some ridiculous stat line like that in that game. And it started close. It started a competition, but no rotations to be had for Carolina, and the Subliners took advantage.
I mean, it really did feel like the moment was on the P1 hill where, like, Carolina had the spawns for P2. TJ spawns up back gas, and then Carolina almost simultaneously lose every single key gunfight. So everyone that could have, like, kept those left side spawns rolling through for Carolina, they just die. You spawn up on the wrong side of the map, and then you're just on the back foot. Like, you have to hike across the map to rotate towards P2. They end up getting flipped again on the P2 hill to get the palace spawn, so now they're on bad footing for the rotation over to showers. Like, you just lost control of the game. You could absolutely never get it back, and New York Subliners obviously taking full advantage. That is 4 players down the line, just ridiculously positive. The slang out of control. And again, if the game on Invasion is flowing easy for you, the kills are very easy to get. And that is nearly perfectly done. Again, right after that P1, you have like 3 hills in a row where Carolina did not score a single point. That is absolutely brutal to look at.
Yeah, you never want to see a flat line on a hardpoint graph, especially one that long. But it does give us a wonderful opportunity. To map 5, we do go. A potential reverse sweep chance.
Absolutely. And again, Subliners were a little bit 50-50 iffy in the respawn game modes. Well, they delivered in the final 2. You know, game 5, and again, from stage 1, it is Subliners who have the best S&D record against Carolina, who had the worst. We get to see how stage 2 is going to shake things up.
We certainly do. It is not ended. Our story has not been told, and it has not been finished. The last chapter will be written by these teams, but is it New York or Carolina with the pen in their hand? And S&D will decide it all for us. Do not go anywhere. We will see you right after this for more Call of Duty League.
Start the season strong with the Call of Duty League Pack. Grab yourself the CDL Operator, Weapon Blueprint, and so much more. Check out the Call of Duty store in-game now.
Slice up your competition with the Executive Chef Operator, now available in-game in the Call of Duty store.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. The New York Subliners and the Carolina Royal Ravens have taken this the distance. It is a map 5, the last one, S&D for all the points. Chance, what do we think?
I think it has been a rare sight to see a reverse sweep so far this year. We've had like 2, I think, total, or maybe 3, and I think Vegas Legion has been a part of. Yeah, I was gonna say there's one team that has been the center point of it. And well, maybe Carolina could potentially be the team that joins the mix on the negative side. Subliners want to, of course, come out on top, but I don't think it's gonna happen. As much as we like to make fun of teams for maybe sketchy teamwork, team kills like that. If I had to take a guess, nice reset. There you go. We'll get there in a bit.
Might have been a reset though, but for some reason really enjoying the reset. Having fun shooting each other in spawn. Just taking time for opportunity where they can. But yeah, it gives them a bit of an opportunity for us actually to talk about this map in a little bit more detail between these two. Obviously last time these two squads played, they didn't get to a map 5, and we did highlight that realistically the Subliners have a better statistical advantage in the S&D. But Ravens won the S&D in this series so far.
Yeah, and I think the primary thing for Carolina is, like, you know, during the Major 1 split with these core 4 players, they were basically just playing like an 8s team of, like, they're all good players. They all know what to do in search and destroy, but they just had absolutely no time to actually develop the chemistry, go over the details and the strats, get a feel for, like, how any given player is going to play in a situation. Like, if you're getting used to playing with TJ Halley, but the guy you were playing with before is like Hydra, or just pick a random player, the way they react to different situations always going to be different. If you don't have that experience, it's just difficult to orchestrate. So that's a big factor into why Carolina just so poor in search and destroy throughout the major. Even on a map like Karachi, they just hadn't had a chance to iron out any of the wrinkles in their setups, figure out the different tendencies of their teammates, and get used to everything. What we saw in the Invasion Search and Destroy, fantastic teamwork. Everybody getting in the mix, everybody very well coordinated, the setup's always on point. So they're going to need to bring that into the Karachi as well. They still have to answer questions on different maps, but certainly much more of a believer in this Carolina Ravens team. Obviously, I know Felony was popping off, but they were really just good plays down the entire roster. So high expectations from Carolina, but you just know it's a force they're going against.
Yeah, it is. And this is where all that practice, all that time you've spent figuring out breaks, figuring out what way you want to play every single opportunity in this S&D comes down to. I think I'm probably going to misquote this, but I'm going to say I think you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your training.
An interesting webcam, I'd say, for the past few years. I know him and Sender were like having a father-son moment is what it looked like, I think, before the tech thing we had before map 4. So this guy's got a lot of things going on with the setup, but also a lot of gunning and playmaking potential as well. He got the cruise missile on the map 4. He was the guy that was staying alive for what seemed like a year and a half over by the A zone on the high-rise control. So this guy's putting in some serious work that he wants to carry into the Karachi. He's always going to be a lethal threat in search and destroy as well, but maybe just re-talking about the exact same things you just talked about before the map loaded in the first time. And there's Ravens sitting in the darkness.
Sitting in the darkness, being quiet, but I think we are ready. I believe they are launching into this now. Karachi S&D, you have been patient, you have been beautiful, but the time is upon us. This must end, and we will find out how it does. The Ravens or the Subliners, fingers crossed for the fans of both these teams.
is going to be an interesting map as well because of the pace on Karachi. Almost like expected 90% of the rounds, it is going to be slow. It is going to be playing off the information, looking for those first bloods. You can make moves on both sides of the map, but you always have to be on point. Even just on the like stuns and nades front, you have to be very particular. Got to be a little bit careful, especially in these early rounds as well. With no trophies, got to be just even safer than you normally are.
Oh, here we go. Already looking for these kills, looking for these plays. A little bit of a push up here. Hydra trying to get out. Information is critical at this point. There's the first blood. There's the reply. Back down to 3-3. Hydra will find Gwyn though. Clayster friendly left alive in a 2 versus 3 chance.
Oh, now Skies is what can have the information, and he's going to play nice and patient, too, and able to drop him win the easier gunfight. You see Clayster half health. They know exactly where he is. Ooh. Or maybe they knew exactly where he was. He's at least slipped the net to make moves out towards B, and they're still looking around Coop, so if Clayster picks up a freebie kill here, shoots a player in the back, there is an opportunity for him to make this play, but he is running out of time. But they still haven't spotted him, so the only thing working from Clay is that he's invisible.
Oh, he's still playing around this. He still wants to go back to B. He is in place. Eventually one's going to go check it. This is a problem. Kismet will check this bomb. They have the lives and time to spare. But he is going to go down. Clayster trying to make a miracle happen. Miracle over.
Yeah, found him. Nothing happening there. Yeah, in spite of the no information that the subliners had on Clayster, eventually, after you've cleared out Coop, you just send one player over just to watch the site just in case. Kismet sees him on the cross, sees him through the red window, and an easy gunfight towards the end. So an interesting round towards the end of it, but at the start, it was just the positioning and the bloods rolling through for New York. Execute, take care of business, no clutches slipping through the cracks, and considering how the first S&D started off, New York subliners on a much stronger footing.
Well, let's see if they can continue this now. Will it be the full collapse of the Ravens we are staring at? Or do they have something a little bit more to give us? Big push here. You can see Gwyn, maybe the key player. I think he's already gone up top.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think you're ever going to read this. That might be the first time we've actually seen someone on broadcast hit it. The question is, how many kills can he get after the bomb gets planted? The great position's one thing, but the objective going to be another, and Kismet's going to get out as well, so the jump up spot, but right now, he's just causing chaos, waiting for his teammates to get in the mix.
Fortunately, Close has already gone down. Gwyn was in a great position, but that position doesn't mean a lot without the kills. TJ still worrying about this player on the flank. Hydra's going to find Felony. Gwyn last alive, not a kill to be found. New York, they get everything they need, and a little bit of luck from Kismet.
Yeah, and that is, I mean, absolutely nothing going right from Carolina there in the moment. Everybody losing the one-on-one gunfights. I think it was Sid that was playing the distant angle by Coop, sort of, you know, catching those players off of rotation, and everybody on New York doing their job in that moment. And really just unfortunate for Gwyn. Honestly, that could be a moment where, like, a Ninja Defuse would be possible, because from New York's side, like, there's simply no way someone's behind us. But as soon as they get the intel on Gwyn, and Gwyn doesn't get the first blood, the round feels so much easier after the fact.
Well, let's see. Can there be anything here? Only one kill in 2 rounds for the Ravens. They're now attacking. They're going towards B. TJ leading the forward. Will need a check. Sips already tagged him up, so we won't push for this yet. On the other side, Gwyn playing an island.
Yeah, that might be the first blood battle, number 8 versus number 1, and Kismet reads it. Gwyn had some cheeky spot in a corner, but outside of the beatdown from Clay, it's just a beatdown that New York is delivering. 3 versus 2. Sib's got eyes on bomb as well. Felony gets caught, and Kismet is out here making plays. Hard reads on Gwyn. And of course, everybody seemingly winning their ones on the side of New York subliners. This is the more typical, what you would expect from number 1 versus number 12 in Search and Destroy. Subliners just had to get warmed up a bit, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe. It could be any one of these, but New York certainly have shifted gears. Maybe they just didn't want to be the main focus of the flank later on and said, hey, we need to turn this one around now. But for the Ravens, they need to do the same thing. Maybe change it up, maybe slow it down, speed it up. Something has got to give.
I mean, they just need a first blood, really, just any sort of momentum. They only have 2 kills on the map at all in 3 rounds, so you just got to win that initial one. Hydra, though, playing with all the confidence in the world, already made it to top AC, a little bit of intel, and he dips away with his life. TJ maybe thinking about the chase for the trades, but Hydra's already healed up, but TJ able to get it done, and Carolina finally, the first blood and second fall their way. Just got to make sure you don't let a 2v4 slip through the cracks.
It really all comes down to this first kill. Kismet, they know where he is. He's being chased. He will be shot in the back here as well. And Gwyn gets him down to a 1 versus 4, but surely a 1 versus 4 too far on this map.
Yeah, and again, just finally a nice opening break coming out there. They get the information on Hydra, shoots at Felony from up top, and TJ, not an easy gunfight to win when Hydra's in the middle of the map like that, but takes care of business, gets that one, and I think Felony was looking over him. Maybe a player jumping over the bridge or jumping up top third, but first 2 kills go your way on defense. Basically just going to lock it in. Now Carolina, the sort of bigger question for them, what can they do on the attack? They've gotten stuffed every direction they try to go.
Well, let's see, because this isn't over. While it has been dominating for the New York Subliners in those first 3 rounds, with a round back on the board for the Ravens, they can make this 3-2 and make it look a lot more kind of favorable to them in the end. But here comes the first blood. Hydra has to back away. It's full mid-map control for Carolina.
Yeah, and Hydra does the smart thing, doesn't want to overchow because he would be running into 3 people. That is 3 players from Carolina. Will now make it 2, just stacked up around this sort of P1. So they don't have a lot of map control. They're sort of in a funnel, and there's a lot of power position for players on the New York Subliners just to pick up the easy kills. You just don't want to make a mistake and overcommit, but there's a freebie. First blood for New York, and everybody is still trapped for Carolina, who are gonna fall like dominoes. Hydra absolutely frying on the map. Felony, last man standing, 1v4.
Yeah, I mean, you take mid-map control, but then you kind of get caught there. It becomes a kill box you can't escape from, and again, New York, an easy, a clean round for them. 4-1 now in this S&D, and Clayster, you can see the frustration on his face as he talks to his teammates.
Yeah, now I'm assuming talking about the way that round went down. You get that P1 control like that, you have to make a move off of it, but I think as soon as Hydra showed himself top AC, you're like, well, we can't climb the ladder, because like that's a, you know, it's going to be spotted from the guy's top AC. We try to go through this alley, Hydra's going to be there. Like, there is just nowhere you can go. Again, as you pointed out, you just end up in the kill box, and that is a lot of frustration in the middle of these rounds. Maybe the frustration going to continue. Carolina not playing, maybe another tech issue or something going wrong. Carolina tilting, and now the question is, how long does it take New York Subliners to figure it out? The host is going to do it for them. Always fun stuff here to figure out what is going on in the map 5, but add that delay to the tally.
Hey, sometimes you're just going to ride the roller coaster. We can have it smooth, we can have it rough, but we'll get there in the end. But right now we will figure out what is going on and get back to you. But clearly something amiss in the camp of the Ravens, and we're not just talking about the gameplay. They have struggled on that S&D the entire way through.
Yeah, no, not been a good look. Again, the First Bloods have not been going their way at all on a strategic front. They are creating small opportunities that are just getting absolutely punished by New York. Even the cheeky spots coming through. Again, Gwyn out here playing off angles and Kismet just making the reads. So New York seemingly on Karachi just ahead of the game, and now Carolina going to have to deal with the frustration. Not good vibes in the camp when you're in the middle of potentially getting reverse sweeped, especially so when the rounds are falling like they have. Got to regain, but right now I'm looking at the faces, and I don't think anyone's going to be that voice just yet.
No. Clearly they are listening, whether it's to a coach or an admin or something, because none of the Ravens are talking. On the side of it, the Subliners, the skies could not look more relaxed.
I mean, it has been a talking point, even amongst players this year, of sort of just like team culture and how much of like, you know, playing with your friends, your brothers, getting that like level of chemistry like out in game goes a long way. Subliners obviously have like the team chemistry in spades. That was a major factor in why these guys ended up world champs just last year. Because even when they like bottomed out of certain tournaments, their confidence was absolutely never shaken. I mean, I remember going into like the final major before champs at Toronto, where like the coaches were just like, nope, we're gonna win this tournament. Like, we just know for a fact we'll let Wardy sub in for a game or two. Like, we don't need the extra reps of like the the online matches. Like, we don't care anymore. We've made it. We're the best team. Now it's just the final 2 tournaments. So Subliners always a squad bringing those vibes. And obviously, again, it is something that goes a long way. Something maybe half the teams, maybe even less than that, really have been able to pull together in a strong way. But it is also something that, it takes time to build.
It really does. And it's also a lot easier when you're winning. It's always good vibes. True. When you are winning, it's a lot harder to have good vibes and that sort of culture when you can't get anything going. But right now, it looks like the teams are probably locked in, I think. But I'm gonna guess here. I think the Ravens are still listening to something, whereas the New York are chatting amongst themselves by the look of it, because Kismet is either talking about the game, but Hydra was having a laugh with Sky. So I don't know what's going on with these 2 squads, but it does feel like a little bit of difference in the mentality at the moment.
Even just the parallel of seeing one team like just in the sunlight. You don't want it glaring in your eyes necessarily. Like Sid may be struggling just a touch in that regard, but it's just, your mood is better when you're in daylight compared to the pit of despair in darkness. So a little bit more difficult potentially to deal with, but again, obviously you have New York Subliners. Maybe not playing in a facility, maybe playing in like an apartment complex, but they are all together. Get to enjoy that team vibe.
Well, I think that can help things in so many ways as well. Talking between maps is easier when you can kind of get the inflection from in-person communication. But it doesn't matter. This is all just us trying to give an insight into how these players are playing this out in their mind at the moment. But realistically, all of our waffle doesn't matter. It's about the gameplay. It's about what they do when they perform. And you can see right now, they are sitting forward, the headsets are on, and they are starting to lock back in.
And Bryce, you're definitely going to have to help me with this one. I believe it was it 3-1 or 4-1 round count that we're potentially going to go into? I know Carolina, the final round, spawned in on defense, so it's exactly where we left off.
Yeah, 4-1 was the score. I haven't had anything from the admins telling us any different, but if we do, we'll be the first to tell you. At the moment, though, Hydra has hit this one like a madman, but he is playing his life and he's getting out.
Yeah, and again, just the confidence that you're able to play with. If he's in this spot, Carolina going to have to slow things down just a little bit and worry about that Hydra Thorn in your side. Skies is going to get back down, but you see the bomb. It is slow roaming over towards A. And in the meantime, Hydra collects that first blood. The Thorn in your side has struck, and they're making the instant rat back over to B. I mean, Klizmet has made it towards the bridge, so they've cleared out a bit of the map and with a man advantage. Carolina do not want to see this bomb go down, but I don't think they're going to have a choice.
They're having to back up here. You can see Felony right there, but guns against him. Reinforcements coming over. It will be Clayster who tries to get this one. Clayster will find Hydra. 2 versus 3. It's a little bit more doable, but with bomb down, it is difficult.
Yes, the most difficult bomb site to retake, especially with the man disadvantage. I don't even know if you're ever going to read this off angle from Sid. There's no reason someone would ever play here, but when you got the man advantage, you can do things like that as easy as it could possibly get. And Skies is, I don't know how to explain that. I don't know. He's having fun. He's having fun, Bryce.
Sometimes that's the best way to be. All kind of relaxed, a little bit loose. Gives you good opportunities for reflexes. And I don't know, man, this has been a game of 2 halves, to use an English football term. New York did not look good in the first 2 maps, but they have looked amazing in the next 3.
Yeah. And Bryce, if you're just looking at the player cams, like, it looked like it was over before the reset. Like, there is just no good vibes flowing through Carolina. They look defeated, and I think New York Subliners, again, just a round away to deliver that final fate. Nice little angle for Kismet. Doesn't take an ounce of damage and nearly kills 2. Another first blood, and the round collapses. It is all up to Clayster with absolutely nothing but a dream.
He finds one, but New York are about to put this one to bed, surely. 59 seconds, no bomb here for Clayster. And New York, they can smell the victory. It has been served onto their plate over and over again. And there's the gunning, there's the win. And there is the revenge for Boston for New York. A slight redemption for them after everything that has been said. But it wasn't the cleanest of games. And maybe a silver line for New York for that one. The Ravens obviously have some things to work on.
You are not wrong about that, but I mean, that is a game that very much could have been a 3-0 for Carolina. They pulled the defense on the round 5 on high rise, but the subliners players just taking turns, popping off and making the big plays. I know Skies was the focal point of many of them, especially towards the end. Hydra obviously getting a couple first bloods, Kismet doing his thing the entire time. So again, as you pointed out, sort of the tale of two halves. Bit of a sloppy start. They're getting punished on that final rotation of P2 on the sub base, getting bullied on invasion. But as soon as they iced up, they never looked back on the high rise. Two just obliterations on the final 2 maps.
Yeah, it really was. Unbelievable start to this one. The road to Miami is certainly going to be a fun one to witness. But hey, a map 5 for those two teams, and yeah, an absolute ton to take away, but fortunately we have a desk dedicated to that duty. Guys, over to you.
Thank you so much. We got Brycey, we've got our man Chance done for the night, and we're done as well. Only 2 matches here on day 1, Allie. What did you think of the second match from the Subliners?
I was really worried at first. Obviously, you know, I did change my pick to Carolina Royal Ravens. I didn't expect it to go the way it did, but New York come fighting back with one of the, I believe, 5 now reverse sweeps that we've had so far this season.
Yeah, and Royal Ravens were one of those teams who got a reverse sweep. They did it over Legion. That was qualifier 1. Now they get reverse swept. And Nameless, you called it in the green room. As soon as New York started in that game 3 on the comeback, you said, listen, this is going to a game 5, and it's going to be 6-1 or 6-2 in search.
Yeah, I just feel like it would be that way. You know, the way that the map's set up. I thought New York trolled a little bit, not picking Rio as map number 1. They go ahead and play Subbase, which is a map we've seen Carolina be very good at. And they start off hot, but Carolina just got the guns rolling, able to take that victory. And then in Search and Destroy, that has been the game mode that Carolina needs to get better at. The only map in the rotation that they have a win on is Invasion S&D. They're now 3-0 on that map mode combination, but every other map they have not won in S&D. So as soon as we get to this Karachi, you know, sort of the same story. You know, in terms of first bloods, Carolina's been very bad. Their defense has been very bad. Once again, we saw it happen throughout this map, and you know, sort of some of their plays, like on offense, trying to work over towards Coop and get that bomb down. You have no pressure mid, so New York doesn't really have to worry about it. So they sort of just group up on the street and play the trade game. Everything was just working perfectly, and Carolina wasn't taking any space. So for them, they have a lot of improvement they need to make in the search game.
Yeah, you made a really good point there. I feel like so far on the defensive side for Carolina Royal Ravens, on this Karachi specifically in Game 5, they just gave way too much space on the map. They were not playing aggressive on defense at all. They weren't even pushed up to bridge side over on the B-bomb side. So a lot of review there needed for the Carolina Royal Ravens. But, you know, that map 1 was crazy.
It's crazy, map 1. Yeah, it was very tight. 6-1, though, in game 2 kind of caught me off guard. Were New York playing with their food too early on? You mentioned you didn't like the sub base in this series.
I just think it was the map pool situation. I think they probably have been doing really well in sub base and scrims, and it's a map that New York's going to have to be good on to contend with some of the top teams. But it just got out of their hands a little bit. You see what happens when you get that bunker spawn. You lose P2, you get bunker, and then you're guaranteed lost P3 unless you make a miracle happen. That's exactly what happened. They lose about 120 points between those two hills.
Our play of the game is the moment the Royal Ravens will be thinking about until their next match. It is round 3, the very end of the control. Allie, looking at this mini-map, what was going down here?
Yeah, unfortunately, they just had no info on this player number 4. He's playing extremely passive up in their spawn and is able to hit a route through the outer side of the map, get that first blood, and kind of causes Carolina Royal Ravens to call him out and go on this hunt, which allows a player like Skies on a 5-3, Hydra on a 3 to lock them into this horrific spawn blender.
Yeah, it's just, you're just losing so many lives, right? Like at the end of this round, like Skies gets through and he finds 2, it's just going to slow down. Like what Carolina's playing for here is to try to put you in a spawn trap, but they're never able to do it. Like Skies buys enough time for Hydra to get pushed up, then Hydra buys enough time for the rest of his team to come in and find their ones, and before you know it, it's 8-4, and then you can just play the number game, which is exactly what New York did.
Royal Ravens slowly unraveling until that 6-1 defeat in a Game 5 hands the Subliners their first win of Major 1 and a much-needed win after falling to this Ravens team on land. And we were talking about it in the green room. If Ravens 3-0'd the Subliners today, you have to just say straight up they have their number, right, Allie?
Yeah, you have to say something's going wrong, but they fight their way back in and later half of the series, man. There's still some hope for our defending world champs.
There you go. That is your scuff play of the game, but it's now time for our Monster Winner Spotlight. We got the Bulldog joining us live from New York. How we doing, Kismet? Congrats on tonight's win.
I'm doing good, man. I see your shirt, by the way. That shirt is fire. I got a little quick shout out.
You know, it's good luck, have a little bit of fun, and stand clear. All right, there it is. Thank you, Subliners, for all of the gear you sent our way here at the studio. But Kismet, talk to me a little bit about Hardpoint, because in Game 4, Nameless was commenting over and over again. You were 7-12 at one point, but he said you were playing flawlessly because you are the man controlling the map. What do you do for your team in Hardpoint specifically?
I guess it just kind of depends. I think I've taken the role of like understanding I can slay, but also there's times where that map, for instance, the beginning, I was like you said, 7-12. I was not getting kills, but I was just, I don't know. I just understand the game to know when I need to make plays, and that's the thing. Like I think people are starting to learn as the time goes on with Call of Duty that sometimes you might be negative, but the plays you're making is the reason why your teammates are pos 10 or whatever. So I think that's kind of why, like, I don't know. I fit this team really well with that. So.
You definitely do.
Yeah, you're making some great plays. And, you know, watching you guys play Invasion and play it so perfect like that, it begs the question, where are the struggles coming from in Hardpoint? Like, I see in this series, you guys go ahead and you pick Subbase, which is a bit surprising because I would expect you guys to like Rio. What's the deal there? What's going on in HP?
I mean, Subbase has been looking phenomenal in scrims, so that's just one of those things. It's unfortunate the match comes. I mean, I think we were blowing them out of the water at the beginning. We just, a couple hills went their way, and, you know, I think Troy made a really good point after map 1 and 2. He was like, honestly, guys, we're playing really good. We're getting a lot of kills. We're just not together. Like, it doesn't matter how good you're playing, as long as we're not, like, if we're not doing things together, we're not going to win. And I think we really took that to heart going into map 3, 4, and 5. Like, everything we were doing, we're just like, you know, holding each other's pockets, just trading kills, and it showed what we can do, I guess.
So safe to say that Subbase has been looking good in scrims.
Oh, Subbase has been looking really good. It's just one of those things. Like I said, they played good. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't care, bro. You square up. I don't care.
Kismet, I kind of want to ask you a bit about, because obviously Major 1 didn't go the way you or any of the New York fans probably expected it to be, and now even in this series, you know, to start off going down 0-2, you guys fight your way back in 3 maps in a row. I just want to give the floor to you right now to speak to New York and your fans as a whole, as how the team is feeling and what you're looking forward to as we move through Major 2.
Yeah, I mean, I stream a lot and I talk about it. I don't know, we feel good. You know, things happen. It's competition. Sometimes, you know, teams come out and they're just going to have their day, and we didn't have our day in the weekend. And, you know, it sucks. And I'm sorry that, you know, we want to perform for you guys, we want to perform for ourselves and our organization. It's just, you know, it's one of those things where we have to have a goldfish memory towards that. And I think we've done that going into scrims leading into this major split. And I think this match, granted, we went to map 5, I still think, you know, it still has a lot of good things that came from it. So I'm happy about that. And to the people that are supporting us, you know, we love you guys. So appreciate you.
So Kismet, I'm playing ranked tonight. I'm trying not to suck, and I can learn from your stream. Where are you streaming at, my guy?
Twitch.tv/Kismet6_.
Nailed it. That's Kismet. That is the Subliners. And go learn from one of the best SMG leaders in the game.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much, Kismet. All right, that was match number 2. It is done. But the first match, well, it was over before it began. It felt like Toronto taking control over Miami Heretics. A big welcome to the league for Eric Boom from Scrap and Crew.
Yeah, a whole lot of bark and a whole lot of bite from the Toronto Ultras going up against Miami today. And, you know, you want to give grace a little bit for Eric Boom simply because, you know, sometimes scrims can go one way and the actual matches can go another. And it's our first look at him as well in this roster. So for Miami, still a lot of work to be done, but I mean, it was just Toronto Ultra getting the job done.
Listen, it can only go up from here. They got absolutely slammed, but he did get comfortable on that game 3 in the control. They showed some life, Scrap shot some bodies, and it seems like the team really rallied together.
Yeah.
It's going to be about developing him as a player, but also the team, right? Like the other 3 aren't absolved from how they performed at Major 1. They have to bounce back.
Yeah, Metals had the worst KD on the team for that final game. You can't just look at the numbers, though, as we talked about with Kismet. If you break it down the whole of the squads, though, Toronto doesn't have a weakness. We're looking for it in these 3 games. And it seems like maybe if there is one, it's overconfidence.
Honestly, yeah. The one thing I would have said about Toronto is maybe their S&D was a little shaky, but go back and listen to that interview from Envoy. They are working on not being as one-dimensional, working on giving teams a lot of new looks, and that's even more terrifying in putting the league on watch because Toronto Ultra, the possibility of them getting better is very scary for the rest of them.
They don't have a weakness yet, but I will say the search and destroy map pool. Search and destroy map pool. It's room for a little concern. We'll see.
All right, we're going to keep eyes on you, Toronto. They're back in business on Sunday. If you're looking to join us tomorrow, though, here's how the schedule is going to break down. We kick things off with the Royal Ravens back in action as they take on a struggling Boston Breach featuring ASIM in the lineup. We got the Miami Heretics back against FaZe, and we'll close it out with Seattle and Brezzy going up against the New York Subliners. A 3-match day kicking off at 2:40 Eastern here with headquarters. Before we go tonight, I want to ask you guys, what are you going to be doing to people in ranked?
Not good things. I don't think I can say that live.
Yeah, that's why I threw you under the bus, Nameless.
Absolutely slamming. I'm getting my top 50 back.
We're hopping to Dashy's backpack. We'll see you online. Join us tomorrow, 2:45 Eastern for headquarters day 2.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Estoy cansado de los falsos y les puedo ser sincero. Por eso mi enfoque es solamente en el dinero. Ya no quiero más relajo, ya no más amigos, porque lo único que hicieron es desviarme del camino. He retomado el control, tenía que tomar un receso para averiguar lo que en verdad soy yo. He retomado el control, el rey ha llegado, esta es la nueva era. Deja recordarles que he retomado el control.
Weak, close.
Nice. One there, calf.
Yeah, calf killed me. Top out.
Calf weak.
Falcon.
Alk, jump down. He's still in yellow car, weak.
I can kill him.
Yeah,
Give me
Alk.
He's right in the
Elden.
One shot again. One left. Up point, bro.
One's out now.
Mid cut.
Too slow, buddy. You haven't got time to go dumpster. You haven't got time for that.
I got world starred. Oh my god.
Yeah, he was shooting guff. I've just seen that in the death cam. The guy's jumped off plan. I'm like, surely he's getting his kill.
Yo.